Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures, little change to kick off the new trading week once again this morning, coming off a record-setting performance for the Dow once again back on Friday, even with the big disappointment on the U.S. non-farm payrolls that we got pre-market on Friday. We saw both the S&P and NASDAQ finish the week little changed. We're coming into a little bit of a wait-and-see feel this morning to markets. We had a little bit of energy news coming over the weekend with the Colonial Pipeline being shut down late on Friday. That continued over the weekend following a cybersecurity attack. It takes most of the oil from the Gulf Coast to the east coast of the U.S. 5,500-mile pipeline shut down completely. So we're going to talk about that and how we might see it affect some stocks coming up this morning. Energy shares not significantly higher on the morning so far, but definitely in positive territory. Got to talk about crypto stocks as well. Big moves for ETH back to all-time highs, 4,200 coming into play here for Ethereum. Dogecoin the other direction after Elon Musk was on SNL on Saturday night. We'll discuss that coming up. It's Monday, May 10th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at North American markets. As we mentioned, little change so far. You can see the NASDAQ to the downside, 0.3% for tech stocks once again. They were by far the weakest to end the week on Friday. The Dow 0.3%, S&P little changed. TSX futures here in Toronto 0.4%. I'll direct your attention to the bottom of the screen because, wow, Ethereum again today, 17% to the upside. Bitcoin not really doing much. We had a big move in Dogecoin, guys, over the weekend, as we were mentioning there. But hard to avoid 4,200 here for Ethereum.
Yes, sir. No hustle over in Ethereum. To be sure, it is a fantastic week. Had a fun weekend. Mother's Day is come and gone. I actually didn't catch Saturday Night SNL. I didn't have the time to, but got some highlights in there. Obviously, you're going to see some movement, and I think some of that ramp up, if it wasn't going to get that bounce, I mean, sometimes you get that hype event and they sell it off into it. I mean, it's the oldest saying in trading, I suppose, and investing as well. But at the same time, there's still a hold of about 50 cents on that Dogecoin. We'll see. I think Ethereum is a big, strong name. There's a few earnings this week, nothing too crazy, although BioNTech with a big move upside, 7% or so. It looks like it's going to be another exciting one this week. Only into a couple positions, but watching that ALF, which I think I just missed a $5 rollover, staring at it all morning long, and then just missed that break at $5, or the first time broke that $4.95.
Yeah, we just tweeted this out. Like, what is Dogecoin, guys? Yeah, this was a fantastic skit there. Yeah, I stayed up. I saw the whole thing. It was fantastic. Congratulations to Elon Musk. Absolutely crushed it. So, it was a great performance, a great skit, great couple things there. And yeah, those of you holding Dogecoin, still, man, congratulations. Still 52 cents. You also see Cardano here, $1.70 with a high of 182.50. I mean, I was just talking about this on Friday. It was 160 high. Now you're 182 high and coming back to the downside. But Ethereum, wow. Big move for Ethereum. It's a monster week for earnings this week. I'm actually much more excited about earnings this week than last week. I think it's much, like last week we just had all the big tech companies. This week we're going to have Disney. We're going to have Palantir. We're going to have, there's tons of names as you go. I mean, even today we have movement in the oil names. That's obviously not earnings related with the pipeline. So this week is going to be huge. There's a lot of monster companies coming that are going to affect the market. So let's wait to see what happens. No banks, no tech. Well, some tech. Coinbase also, guys. So, I mean, I'm this week much more excited for earnings than last week. A bunch of new names coming through. So let's see where they go.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Coinbase Thursday will report for the first time since coming public back in April. So we'll see how that plays out. As Sean mentioned, Palantir as well should be exciting. On the earnings front, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning and welcome back, everyone. I wish you a positive and great day. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. We'll jump into some stocks that we don't really talk about, a lot. Typically only around earnings. We get into some of the energy names. We're seeing XOM higher this morning. We're seeing some of the other ones moving into positive territory. Not big moves here because I don't think, the market really understands exactly the what's going to come from this pipeline being shut down. Back on Friday, we learned of this ransomware attack that shut down this Colonial pipeline. Again, it's the largest pipeline that brings oil from the Gulf Coast to the east coast of the U.S. 5,500 miles, in fact, of pipeline not working still this morning. They're currently working on a solution that will get this back up and running. I guess that FireEye company, cybersecurity company, on watch this morning, trading higher. They have already come out saying that they are involved in coming up with some sort of solution for this at this point, guys. What do we do with these today?
With the energy names, if you take a look, any of these across the board, like you look at like an Oxy, let's say, only up like 1%, just over 1%, and you're not sure, like you said, how long this is going to play out. Maybe if this shutdown is longer than just a couple of days here, that could bleed quickly in terms of supply concerns. Then you could see another bump in prices, but they're already so strong, and we're already in the midst of a breakout. I think you just want to play into that strength if at all possible. You're going to have some support around 27, particularly on an Occidental. So, on any kind of a dip, I think it's going to be a solid buy. Again, without really knowing how long this is going to last, it feels like maybe this will wake up some of these, like you mentioned, that FireEye. Maybe it'll wake that up from the slumber that it's been in, as they're already working on this, as you mentioned, but it's been a range-bound trade for quite some time now, from like 19 to 21 and a half, trying to get to that upper band. I sort of feel like if we even test that 2150 on FireEye, this could give you a nice little day trade sell action into here. So maybe it's the kind of catalyst that can do this for us. I'm not 100% certain that that's going to be the case because the volume is so light pre-market in FireEye. It's not as if it's jumping off the page, and I saw the same thing with Crowd. It's not as if any of these names are going absolutely crazy, but if there's enough of a move up, I guess on like pure momentum and reaction to this, maybe you get a shot like $1 higher at a fade off what has clearly been an overwhelmingly tight range in FireEye in particular. With the energy names, I just kind of feel like if you like Oxy, you like any of those, maybe you can buy a little bit on strength, catch some momentum on those plays, but it's hard to say how it's going to play out this week.
Yeah, XOM here has just been an absolute beast, man. XOM just now back to highs, breaking highs. I just went long, 63.20. It's on the sticky note. This is just the high here. We got to take that back to 62.50. We're buying all the way back to 62.50 here. That was Friday's close. Oil only up 0.7% right now. But oil $65 a barrel, so very similar to the price here. I just want to go long all the way back to 62.50 right here, the close. It's breaking out. You can see on a daily chart. If we can't see this, then we're not looking. But 62.50 right there was the high. Breaks out. We come in today up 1.27%. I think it's a no-brainer to take XOM. It's the name that I like the most. Halliburton also. I saw some talk about that with Marlon and a few of you guys there in the pre-market on the chat as well. But same kind of thing, breaking out, but still needs to get above this 24. So this one yet to break out, Halliburton. So you may have something there. I just prefer right now in this space, prefer XOM, go best of breed. And just because it is taking out this top right now, XOM already did. Everything else is just waiting. CVX, the same kind of trade here, 112.70. So there's lots. There's lots of opportunities to go here in oil, and we'll just wait to see. They don't move like crazy. Most days, XOM, up or down $1 is pretty good, unless we see oil moving like crazy. You do have RIG, you have FCX, Freeport is there, AMC. Just looking down the list here, I don't really see anything related to oil on here too much. Vale's there. CLF. A lot of
Freeport's
these are in the metals. What did you see here?
I was saying Freeport's so strong.
Oh yeah, Freeport.
The
Yeah,
copper
that's not
story
oil,
is crazy.
Of course. Yeah, copper. And then GE. Yeah. So, anyways, no oil names on here, but we'll wait to see Uber. These are so small. Like Uber, 67,000. So right now it's still early. Look at the time. It's 8:40. So we'll check back on the imbalances. But right now I'm long XOM, and let's just wait to see. I have no plans of getting out of this one at any time soon. We're long right here, 63.23. So we're long on the bid, and we're going to be longer if it fails into 62.50.
Yeah, so one of the steps that the Biden administration took to kind of help this process along a little bit until they get this pipeline reopened was they immediately came out with a waiver relaxing some rules against transporting oil on roads with trucks. So a bit of an effort there to combat this, but interesting look here for energy stocks so far this morning. I want to mention this one real quick, guys. The trade desk just popping up on Scanner. I mean, this is a big $600-700 stock, but just got crushed down to recent lows here. They reported earnings that were better than expected, EPS and revenue both beating. They even guided Q2 revenue above estimates, but they also announced a 10-to-1 stock split. So downside for TTD early on here. Let's bring in Mark Roberts, get his take on this oil issue, or if it's an issue so far. President of Sun Lake Strategies. Good to see you, Mark. Welcome to a brand new week and happy Monday. Give us your thoughts here. Does this move the needle at all as far as the energy market's concerned?
I think it does. I think the momentum is in energy stocks, and I continue to remain quite long and have been telling clients to stay long.
And if we see, increased supply issues because of this pipeline shutdown, if it does for whatever reason continue, into midweek or even, Thursday or Friday this week, what does that mean for some of these?
Well, gas prices will go higher for sure. And you're now starting to come into the driving season. So that's something that's always a positive. And I would imagine it'll just get better and better if you're net long these stocks.
All right, so interesting week as far as earnings are concerned. As we mentioned, we have some big names reporting with CoinDesk coming for the first time since going public. Let's do a little bit of a earnings Monday wrap up here. What are you looking forward to as far as this week is concerned?
Well, there's a few troubling stocks. DraftKings, awful chart. Lyft, Uber, troubling. Some of these second, we'll call them mega stocks, are not having love or momentum coming into them. So I would imagine on rallies, you'll see sellers in those names. You'll still see copper and or commodity names, BHP in the iron ore area, and those kind of stocks, Rio, RIO, they're going to continue to do well. My guess is I want to watch the airlines with all this oil and gas disruption to see if that moves the needle at all for these stocks.
As far as the quote unquote reopen trade goes, you in your note this morning, you mentioned some of these numbers, positive again, as far as the U.S. is concerned on the COVID front, moving in the right direction, continuing to move in the right direction. How much of this is already priced in to the travel names, to the hotels? And is there still an opportunity maybe, in names that we haven't kind of visited in the retail space possibly? Is there still somewhat of a reopening trade to come?
I wouldn't chase anything. I would put bids out slightly below levels that the market's trading at. I've been very patient on Marriott, for example. Numbers were good on top line, bottom line not so good. The stock was down $4 pre-opening. That's a name high on my list for the reopening, but I wanted to come in some more. So I'm being patient. Stocks like Disney haven't moved. Comcast has done extremely well. Those price targets are getting lifted today. So on balance, stay patient.
Just as a whole, let's have a look at the tech sector here, the NASDAQ in general. Just seeing the 10-year this morning, 157. Again, I believe we closed on Friday somewhere around 155 or 156, if I'm not mistaken. So a little bit higher here again this morning. Talk a little bit about this weakness that has kind of been lingering in the background over the past week in tech stocks. We saw it kind of rear its head again on Friday. I mean, the choppiness continues in this overall market as far as the NASDAQ is concerned. Is there something that's going to provide some stability here for some of these growth names?
Well, here you've got two different, a tailwind and a headwind. Your higher rates are going to happen because the economy is starting to come out of a pandemic. which is very bullish. And as I've said for many, many weeks, higher rates are good. But the street worries about higher rates and what the Fed will do and Biden's big plans for infrastructure. On the other side, the dollar is trading very, very weak. And, it's a question of what comes first, the horse in front of the cart or the cart in front of the horse. I don't know the end result. So I'm just stay low on my bids and let stocks come to me.
I love the horse reference. The only thing we say around here is don't look a gift horse in the mouth. We'll have to throw that one in, the cart before the horse. I haven't heard that in a while. I have a question for you because you mentioned very, very briefly copper there. And I mean, how strong is this move going to continue to be in Freeport? I mean, we're continuing this breakout. We're up another 3.5%. Like you said, dollar weakness is still on vogue. And a lot of people might feel like they've missed out on this one. Is there a name that maybe... I don't know if it's even possible. Is there a name maybe with exposure there that doesn't have a complete sort of whiff where you're not buying necessarily off the top? Now I like Freeport myself, but what are you seeing in terms of the space? Is copper the one area where maybe this will hold up a little bit longer as eventually this commodities boom does have to come back in, but maybe fundamentally copper could fare better than the ridiculous lumber moves that we've been seeing in some of the other commodities?
I would do some homework in your country, in Canada. There are a number of copper-related stocks I'm not as familiar with, but on balance, SCCO is another name, Southern Copper. That's based out of Lima, Peru. I would also look at BHP and Rio. You get a kicker for zinc. You get a kicker for copper, and you get a kicker for some gold. So those are the names that I probably would look at: BHP, ROI, and SCCO.
Excellent, Mark. And of course, we heard you talk a little bit about Marriott, but when it comes to, I suppose, the reopen play, one of the ones that's been sort of, and you briefly mentioned that Disney hasn't really been moving a heck of a lot. Now, we'll load up here. In terms of a reopen, Disney's been this sort of, I call it the sleeping giant here forever. And is there any concern whatsoever looking at this 180 level where you would say to yourself, okay, well, if Disney breaks below this 180, or even retest it, or spends a couple of days down there, is it worth maybe trimming some and then looking back and waiting for a better place to get back into it? I've been waiting for this to make this move. I think it fits the bill personally. It's one of those both reopen and of course somewhat of a stay at home because they have the streaming. But what's your take here? I mean, is there really going to be a test of the low? And if it does happen, what's your approach down there? Because at this point, I've been hanging on so long in the money, kicking myself for not selling some of it to put money elsewhere, and it's just been doing nothing for 2 months.
The answer is that's frustration for many of us, myself included. Personally, if Disney doesn't move, with the market lifting some more in here, most likely I probably would take some off the table and wait for lower prices. I'm just concerned that if we do get a market sell-off, this stock quickly gets into the 160s, 170s, and I would be upset that I didn't make that move to lighten up the position.
Right. Honestly, it was my gut feeling sort of coming in here. It can be frustrating at times. Is there a particular name this week? It doesn't necessarily have to be earnings, but maybe something maybe if there's something in cybersecurity, as we just noticed FireEye and some of those moving up, or just anything that's on your particular radar today that could be worth our look that maybe we haven't mentioned or isn't on the top of people's lists?
The frustration I had was I was in Palo Alto. I got out of it at around 354. It dipped to the 320s. I'm not looking to get back in right now. I'm waiting on these stocks. I'm incredibly frustrated that U.S. corporations haven't taken this more seriously. It seems like every day there's another letter going out that somebody has been hacked. I just don't understand after all of these years that corporations haven't been putting more money into it, and these stocks haven't benefited on their stock prices. So I'm getting to the point of turning to be quite neutral and actually almost to the point of wanting to sell these on rallies.
Yeah, it's crazy because we were pointing out the FireEye. It's just like it doesn't move. It's sitting there. I'm like, I'll probably fade it if it gets to like 2150, the top of its range. And I guess Pan W going to be the same thing, Palo Alto. So I'm kind of with you there. It is a bit interesting to me that you do see, I guess, the lack of urgency when it is, like you say, it's every few weeks or so we see another one of these hacks. But the stock father, as usual. I'm hoping Disney makes a move here for sure. I actually might start feeling better about your Marriott than Disney if it doesn't do anything this week. But as always, thank you so much for your insights, Mark, and best of luck trading this week.
Thank you so much. You too.
All right, guys, a few upgrades and downgrades of note this morning. Some travel names did get some attention at the end of last week, coming out of some positive earnings. This one included TripAdvisor back to the high side again today. Price target of 36. Wayfair on here, a Lyft as well. We mentioned a couple times last week. Oracle, Nikola back to the downside, $72. Really, guys?
What? I'll have to find out about that. It's too bad I didn't get a chance there. And I'll talk to Stockfather. Still got Dogecoin on my mind. I'm going to disagree a little bit with Mark because to say, like these cybersecurity names have been running like crazy. I understand lately nothing really in the tech stuff hasn't been moving, but look at CrowdStrike there, $60. And I just want to get his opinion. $60 back in, basically a year ago, right? Today, 204, so that one's working. And then you go to best of breed, right? PANW, Palo Alto Networks as well. Same type of thing. It's up. If you go back to 2017, forget about, obviously we can go, you can go back to lots of names, but even if you go back to 2017, even let's go 2018, the end of the year, that's 140 up to 400 in just over 2 years, right? So I think a lot of these stocks are working. They're working mighty fine, but with all the cybersecurity, you do have, and then, I want to get to FireEye because I think that's the one that's obviously the one that he was talking about. And again, if you dance with the devil, you're not going to get the greatest returns. FireEye, of course, not best of breed in this sector, right? So I would not be buying some FireEye if you like that. I'd buy that CrowdStrike or Palo Alto. PANW. I've never been able to get into PANW just because of the price. It just kept getting away from me. But if you're going to be into security, I do like that one, and I'm going to talk to him about that on Wednesday. And then another name that I've never been able to get into that I like a lot is the Trade Desk, TTD. So that was an interesting story that you brought, Brendan, about them reverse splitting. That should be good news. Or sorry, just not reverse splitting, just splitting. If it was reverse splitting, that would be bad news. But yeah, so 580, I guess, I don't know if we found out what it was going to be, 10 to 1, something like that?
10 to 1, yeah.
10 to 1, yeah. So down to $60. I think this is a monster buy. This is just on a weekly here. The Trade Desk, got hit. It was just $9.50. So this stock is basically now, if you look at it at a $5.75, cut in half in about 4 months. I mean, a little bit, it's not quite half, but let's just say it's been cut 40% and going lower right now. So I think TTW needs to be bought up, and we can explain a little bit that after. Not on our watch list as that news just comes out, but we'll watch that. I'm not going to trade it today. Actually, 144,000 shares isn't bad, but like even right now, guys, the spread is $3 there. I still see Saturday Night Live talking about, CNBC still talking about Saturday Night Live. That was very great. If you guys were able to see that, I hope you were. It was really fun stuff there. And Miley Cyrus actually did quite well.
Just double checking on this. Yeah, there's 10 for 1. I can show you the headline here. The report itself was actually really good. They beat both top and bottom line. They increased their forecast. 10 for 1 stock split for TTD. So we'll keep an eye on that. Coming up, I did confirm with my friend Valeria that it's $16 for Nikola, not 76, which makes a heck of a lot more sense on that price target that we saw there. Let's jump into what's moving around in the pre-market, guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure you jump over to that link and register for the free watch list we send out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. Has everything you need to know heading into the open. as far as what is moving in the pre-market. We'll talk about tech stocks here because we saw them. I mentioned with Mark, we saw that weakness kind of show its head or rear its head again on Friday for the NASDAQ after that jobs number. Initial strength on all of these following the jobs number on Friday got sold. They did still finish positive on the day, but definitely some relative weakness still in some of these big tech stocks.
Yeah. I mean, look, the growth trade still not around, but I don't think it's going to be gone for very, very long. And Microsoft, I think, is the best of breed there as far as you're going to look at, a little bit of Google as well. Oh, darn it, we have those wicks again. But even if you look here on a daily chart, I don't think this is, that dramatic. You go from 260 down to, that bottom I said was a gift there at 240, 244. If that happens again, I already have my bids waiting there for anywhere around this 50-period moving average. We'll see if we can get that in the long-term account. But I like Microsoft. I just think it's safe, the safest one to trade. And if you were able to get it today, I can't look at this chart. It's really crazy. If you're able to get it today, then I like, this is what I was talking about, down into this level, 250. You have support here at 250. When we did break it, we did go down to 246. So very, very carefully watch out if that does happen. And then you do have protection, I believe, anyways, downside 249, 249.50. So I like Microsoft. I don't think we get to 250 today, so let's go to something that moves a little bit more. And this is the only thing. I wrote down, watch out for this 3. Okay, well, let's change this to Facebook quickly so we get a 20-minute break, 20-minute chart on this as well. This is the level that I was looking at, 313 right here. So this is that bottom. So if we could break 313 to the downside, again, NASDAQ not looking strong today, only down 0.33 right now. I think Facebook has a chance to get through here. It bounced off there. Obviously, this is the 4th, and then you have another bounce off on Thursday, the 6th, and then we had that nice rebound on Friday. But look at Friday. Like, Friday was supposed to be a nice little rebound for tech, but Facebook still sold off, right, into that day. So we'll have to wait to see today. It comes in a little bit more negative. I like a 313 break on Facebook. This is one of the ones that, my last buy in all of these major names was Facebook at 270. So, we're super happy with where it's gone, but I wonder if it's going to get back here anytime soon. We need to wait. We need to wait on tech stocks. So I think this is probably a decent opportunity now to break this level, especially if the NASDAQ wants to turn. Again, everything is waiting today. Like, we've done really great the last few days not taking early breaks, although we did have Square. That was a little different. That was on earnings. That was a monster trade. Neil had a big Tesla trade as well on Friday. So I think this can give it to us a breakthrough 313 downside if you're bearish on Facebook.
I don't want this to be the case, and this is not big tech, but you just mentioned Square, right, Sean? And it was such a great run, obviously off of the earnings. You come back and you look at this afternoon low of like 231, and we're just right on the precipice here. The market's basically flat with the NASDAQ very, very slightly down, and with that weakness potentially coming in, I just look at this 231 on Square and say, it's probably going to be worth it for that little day trade to the short side. I wish it wasn't really set up that way. Kind of hoped that we'd have a little bit more strength, but I'll be watching Square for the other direction. It gave up a lot off of that 240 in the afternoon. So, and it's not like that was out of nowhere. Like, that was sort of a bit of resistance and chop at that price range in the sessions before. So you have a bit of a double, triple top, and then a 231 breakdown. It's basically the pre-market low. Maybe it does come in the next half an hour or so, but we'll see. The market's pretty flat. I don't expect this to make that move until the open.
Okay, so real quick on Alibaba, I saw JD.com was lower in the pre-market here. I'm not sure why this is even a headline, but in the ever, developing story of where Jack Ma is, apparently Jack Ma is at work today. So rare visit to headquarters for Jack Ma today is apparently a headline. I don't know, guys. You want to look at Alibaba?
Sure, yeah. So when we couldn't find Jack Ma, remember I gave him that call. We found out he was on the golf course. So I think everything is good with Jack Ma. This is why I said this is the bigger week for earnings than last week, okay? And that's going to be, that's not going to be true in market cap or anything like that, but you have Alibaba coming through this week as well. You have Disney coming through this week, right? And so I think there's going to be a lot of news on stocks that mean something to somebody. Alibaba is the only Chinese name that I own, and it's the one that I covet the most. So I'm excited for this Alibaba return. I think China has, I mean, this is a screaming buy down here, in my opinion anyways. You just got to get through the rhetoric of the government there. I don't know what, like you mentioned today's story. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me too much. I'm waiting to buy a little bit lower if I can. I will pull the trigger right now. If we can get down to 217, 218, something like that. I am not loading up, but I'm going to put more money into Alibaba this week ahead of earnings. China's ahead of the US on the recovery plan. So I believe that Alibaba is going to report just a huge number. Remember, they still have Ant that got shelved, so we'll see if there's any talk from the CCP about that. They didn't like sort of how powerful Ant was, like as if that's a bad thing for investors. So we'll wait to see. They're trying to spin that off. I think Alibaba is a screaming buy, and there's a recommendation by me for you. So there you go. We'll wait to see what happens to Alibaba. But if you're a long-term trader like I am, this is like a must-have in your portfolio at these levels, without a doubt.
I just want to quickly, some of you guys are watching that ALF. Whatever, I like to call it ALF. It is what it is. It had made another move to the upside, up 31%. It's only been trading a few sessions here today and breaking out to fresh highs. You can see we'll throw up like a 15 just so you can get an idea. That spike into $6. There's really not a heck of a lot to look at. It got to that 5/4, and then all morning long was sort of teetering in between 5 and like 4.95, and it finally broke that 95. I waited till it broke, and then came back in here and got 90s. Now, I was able to get down to 475, which was the breakout at 7 o'clock, but it's headed on the march back up. At this time, it's only half an hour to the open, so maybe I'll take another leg if it rolls over at 95. But if it gets too close to the open and we haven't broken 475, this is one of those like no-fly zone, don't average in all the way up until the high of the day. Like just be able to take the out at 5 if I have to at 925, 927, whatever it might be, and then look for a move off the top. So another strong day, 5 million shares in volume of that 33%, but it is range bound. There's like a 15-cent scalp, which I've done once. I'll look to do it again if it tries to roll over here at 95.
All right, let's bring in Arun. We'll have a quick look at the overall market here. As we mentioned, a little changed heading into a brand new trading week after that volatile session on Friday, I guess, following the jobs number. Arun, what do we think here for a new week?
Yeah, Friday kind of changed the game once we took out that 42.15 area, which was in play for a while, over a week almost. So now here we are above there. The short worked out well in front of it, and then once 42.15 broke, you got the long, and that long kind of stayed in play all day on Friday. And today we're just kind of continuing that run there. We did get above 30, 35, and then we came right back down. There was a little bit of action around the 30 mark on Friday, which could have potentially led to some shorts as well if you wanted to go in that route. So I keep an eye on this 30 area. There has been some action in the past there on Friday that has held the market down. So 4,200 is a stop I was using once we broke through 42.15. So if we can get into the low 20s, I think 42.20-ish area, I think you can look for some longs here. Above 30 though, I'd be careful. The amount of activity that I saw on Friday, given the fact that also we broke above that area and then snapped right back down in the pre-market, tells me that area is a lot larger. So I'm going to be hesitant to get along above 42.30. I'm not opposed to it, but I just want to be really careful that I see enough action to override what I saw on Friday, which was a ton of selling. So if we're going to go long above 30, 42.30, then I'm going to wait a little bit. But if we can get into the low 20s, 42.20, 42.15 area, then I'm definitely going to be looking for some longs there with 4,200 as a stop. And if we break back 4,200, that gets a lot more confusing, I think, because there's been a lot of false breaks, especially the first time we broke through 4,200 about a week ago or so. And if we break through 4,200 again to the downside this time, it makes things a lot more confusing. And then different scenarios come into play, and that's a different game in itself. So I'll set that aside and we'll deal with it when it happens, if it happens. But for now, I think low 20s, look for long with 4,200 as a stop. And if we break to the upside, you just got to let it go and play it as it goes.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning as we head towards the open here. We're under 30 minutes to go before we get things going for a Monday. One of the few notable earnings reports to come out this morning that actually did anything. BioNTech on the vaccine front, better than expected report. Both top and bottom line were beats. They also increased their sales forecast specifically for the vaccine. They also announced a new manufacturing facility in Singapore, specifically to target and combat some of the lack of vaccine deliveries in that region of the world. So BNTX, big move here in the pre-market.
Absolutely, and look, a lot of times the play has been, or the playbook has been, get that big gap up in one of the vaccine names, and then just look to play the fade if you can. Now, this hasn't always been true, but you go back into the fifth last week on Wednesday, you get a gap up, you get a run. And look at this level that we touch. We touch right at this spike low, this 196. If you go the week before, you go back into that Monday, and then we touched that 196 for an absolute flush job on BioNTech. Now, it was already headed downside when that waiver news came through, so it was already making a retracement. That just added fuel to the fire. Now you get these explosive earnings, in addition to them stepping up to meet some supply needs, and we're right back retesting this level at that 196. I mean, if that breaks, you kind of have to look at a bit of a breakdown. I thought it was about to go just before 9 o'clock there. Of course, it did not, guys. Oh, Square just triggered in, so watch out. Square looking like it just broke that 231 to the downside. So I got a pre-market trade in Square. Don't always do it. We got it here today. If BioNTech breaks that 196, I gotta like it. I think there's at least a chance it trades up into the top end of the range where it can be a potential fade off of the high. For now, I'd be looking at that breakdown just because we're a little bit closer. So first look will be that 96 short by BioNTech. And then, look, if we actually get that, if we don't get that trade and we get that open up move into like 203, I'll look for the quick rollover off of the pre-market high of day.
I like Moderna to the upside as well. I think Moderna now probably needs to be bought at some point. We are going to start it off here. We do have some fruit salad right now. And today's fruit salad brought to you by the color light green here. It's melon, honeydew melon, and a lot of kiwi action. Oh, that reminds me, we have to have that kiwi. Oh yeah, and some pineapple there, and a little bit of strawberry to start the day. So, okay, what's up if everybody else having some fruit salad? Very, very healthy breakfast option, I guess. Make some yogurt, would be nice in there too, some granola. Okay, 166 here. So the reason why I like Moderna is I just think it's a pipeline thing. I mean, whether or not, you know, their biggest, obviously one of their only things is the COVID vaccine, but the technology's there with Moderna, and I just think that, you know, this was an $18 stock. Yeah, there it is right there back in March, 17, 18. Forget about where it was before, it was nowhere, but let's just say, you know, we start talking about COVID, up and down, up and down. You know, there's going to be this kind of wave, but the point is, you still do have this 50-period moving average rate at 150. And I've said I hadn't liked a lot of these COVID plays and a lot of the vaccine names, but I just think the technology behind Moderna, we're obviously all going to be needing boosters and things like that, you know, as this world reopens. So you know, I mean, let's just, I don't want to say this, but I mean, there could be other issues coming down the line. And I just think that with the trust that a company like Pfizer, BioNTech as well, and Moderna has now gotten from a lot of the public, I feel. You know, I know there's some negativity around the J&J and the AstraZeneca, things like that, and there's always going to be haters with vaccines, so that's fine. But just as far as, you know, if you believe in the space and if you believe in the vaccination process and what's coming down the line, I think Moderna at any time can be bought and then just held for a break at least of this 190. So I think when that 190 comes, then you're gone for a very, very long time. So if you like the name, you could get in now with the 150 base. My pick would be Moderna over all the rest, although J&J is, I mean, I'm a holder, I've been a holder of J&J since forever. Like, I used to be all worried about, you know, the talcum powder cases and things like that. That's how long I've been a holder of J&J. It's been decades, probably, honestly. I started managing my own portfolio at like 19, 20, 21. So yeah, J&J, and again, I wish my money was all in Apple or something like that, but to be diversified, I do like J&J. It's a small, you know, small mover, but consistently up, and then you are breaking, you know, highs of J&J as well. So I like J&J, I like Moderna. I would choose both of those names over Pfizer or BioNTech.
I saw this morning as well, there's a headline on AstraZeneca, and not a significant one, but they were saying that they're going to kind of bypass or just skip the process of trying to get emergency use authorization in the U.S. and just go right through to the full FDA approval for their vaccine in the U.S., which has yet to happen. So a little bit of news on AZN as well. Let's talk about crypto stocks here, guys. Just check BTC. Yeah, struggling. It's trying to hold 58,000. We've been in this range, kind of grinding back towards 60,000 for the past couple of weeks. It is continuing to move higher. The bigger news, though, obviously, as we mentioned at the beginning, 4,200 for Ethereum today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as my Binance chart freezes there, Binance actually holding off on deposits or suspending deposits temporarily there. So I guess that's a bit of news. Look, obviously, Robinhood had their issues with trading because there was so much excitement in Dogecoin over the weekend. We had our poll, and it seems like it's going to be obvious because look at that bounce off of 4,000 that's now happening right towards those tops. I guess that's going to be the support that ends all support. The 20 break on Bitcoin gave you a 60. The 2,000 on Ethereum, which is essentially the same type of thing technically, still has a ways to go, obviously, and it just seems like it's on its way. I kind of feel like we're going to break that high at some point today. Whether or not we hold it or we get a little range bound, it wouldn't shock me too much there. And watch out that alpha. I just got triggered out. So I got that scalp trade, just broke 5. Not averaging into that one. I'll wait till the open. But I think we hold that 4K. Probably going to get a bit of a breakout through the high of the day. But I'm sticking to Ethereum and Bitcoin. I don't see any prices I like on some of those stocks, however. They're looking not as pretty the last little bit. I think you can wait around on some of your Riots and your Maras and that kind of world.
Look, man, we hit the hot dog, we hit the backflips, we do all this. I mean, I've been telling you guys about crypto since the beginning of the show. So however long you've been watching, I hope you've made, I don't know, 5,000%. And I'm being serious, like on some of these names, you can easily make that. I mean, on Ether alone, like the minute, Brendan, that this ETHBB, went to market, like we were buying this stock and we talked about that. So that's just like, this is from like we worry about these other stocks. J&J, blah, 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 Uber, Pinterest, this and that, like, stocks like DraftKings and whatnot. I mean, this was $10, $10.50. You're gonna open today at like $17. Like this was April 22nd. I don't know, are we gonna open at $20? Like where are we gonna open? Like this thing was $16, $15, $16 on Friday. You're gonna open up for a double since this thing started, right? And it's about right. And we obviously been talking about BTCC.B as well. These are the purpose. And again, I don't have any affiliate with these guys. This is literally just what I think is gonna happen with this market. Bitcoin, again, you wanna buy some Bitcoin? Buy it right now. Buy BTCC.B. This is the ETF that actually tracks Bitcoin, basically one for one. I've been watching it. This is stuck in the middle. You could buy that. Forget about the Maras, forget about the SOS, forget about the SIs, forget about everything. Either buy Cardano, buy the coins themselves, or if you're not comfortable in exchanges, then just come over to the Toronto Stock Exchange, right? We don't have this, but I'll just give you the quote anyways. It's .u. This is to trade it with US funds. So ETHH.u. If you trust the exchanges, there's nothing to show. I just want to show you this because it's the .b that if you just want to convert your US dollars into CAD, might not be bad. We talk about that every day anyways, which I'm negative on. I hate that that's happening. But you can convert your money over and then just start buying and actually have your money on exchange. So, on a registered exchange that's backed, a certain protection of your money is there, so on and so forth. There's different FINRA rules and so on so forth with these kind of accounts. So there you go. I like these names. And then, I mean, it's just, everything is just to the moon. And I hate saying that, but like that is what's happening here. Look at Cardano. I mean, how long have we been talking about this for? Why did I just click on a 4-hour chart? Okay, well, we'll look at it anyways. Even back here, even in May, when this thing dipped down, just April 22nd, 23rd, $1.03. I can show you statements where I'm buying this thing down here. Every time it drops down to $1, and then 183. I mean, it's just the returns that are happening in crypto space right now are dwarfing those in the equity in the market. You guys, that's obvious. So I just think there's a hell of a lot of money flowing from equity markets into crypto, and that is part of the issue right now with liquidity and why a lot of these big name stocks continue to drop, right? I just think they don't have the bottom there yet because the money right now is supporting crypto, and I believe rightfully so.
All right, we'll stay in the cryptocurrency world, talk about Coinbase here. Down 30% from its IPO debut price. But earnings to come this week, guys, on Thursday for coin. So it's actually showing a little relative strength as well here in the pre-market.
Yeah, when we finally got the test of that reference price at 250, and I think everyone's, well, I shouldn't say everyone, I think a lot of people were waiting around for that price, and patiently so, to get some money in. You kind of saw that off the bottom. We were able to take a couple of longs off 251, which were pretty good. And now I'm sort of saying to myself, okay, going into the earnings later in this week, I want to see if we can't pick some up, at least in the day trade, I should say, on some weakness. Now, if there is this little tiny rollover, which may be continuing back into the low 260s, I'd like to mount a little bit of a defense here. I'd rather be playing by the dips after we've made that 250 low and see if we can't get this one started over again. Now, the first thing first is going to be that 260 area. Obviously, we're testing down to 265 currently in the pre-market. I almost like to see that level break. If there is a hold at Friday's close, which is like 263.70 or so, that might be worth a scalp. Really, I'd be liking to defend that area at 260 if I can. And I'm going to stay away from breakouts on Coinbase. That has not been the best trade. Well, I mean, since literally like the first 2 days of trading Coinbase. So for me, I want to find that support level, do what previously worked, and waiting for 251 was fantastic last week. This week, I'm looking at that 260 level, see if I can't catch a bounce, make $5-10 on that kind of a trade, and then you just step away.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty nervous about Coinbase, and the reason why is, and it's just sort of a little bit what Neil was saying there about 250, but it's sort of the other way. There wasn't like, I mean, that's a decent spike there. That's the 6th, so that was Friday, I guess, right? Yeah, what was this? So what day is today? Yeah, no, so that's the 6th was Thursday. So even on Friday, so I don't know if you guys probably can't see this because it's very, very hard to see, but the volume at that 250 level that happened basically on Thursday and Friday was pretty good. But, would like to see volume get a little bit higher right now on Coinbase. I just started looking at volume. Obviously, who cares? I mean, all the early volume, right? Like, that's what it is. It was only around for the first week. But I just wanted to see here. It's hard to see. I'm going to change that because you can't really see that green there, guys, on this. Maybe I can make this up a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be hard. But it doesn't matter. The point is there, I like that 250 level. I think if that's a level that you're going to get money into, that makes sense. It's just I was really surprised that there really wasn't more buying down there, to be completely honest with you, on Coinbase. But it did hold it up, so that's been a beautiful trade so far. I haven't been buying. I'm down like 20%, something on this name. It's down 30% since IPO prices. I didn't get in at IPO price, a little bit lower than where it came in at, but there's that 250. Yeah, see, we didn't test 250 on Friday. It came on Thursday, and there it was right there. So again, this is a good look at the volume. You can see it was the highest volume spot. Forget about the open, but the highest volume spot was when we got down there, besides the close. So I like to see it retest 250. But again, beggars can't be choosers. I think this 259 is just as good as that, but you don't buy Coinbase because you believe in crypto. That's actually why you buy crypto, right? So if you believe in crypto, then I've already given you tons of names to support. I actually turned over some Litecoin into Bitcoin on the weekend, so I'm getting lighter on Litecoin. And just bought a few more Bitcoin there, as I believe that is the next one. I don't even mind recommending rotating out of Ethereum, ETH, over to BTC, just because I think the rally's been a little bit overdone, but you don't want to stand in front of a train, right? And so I think that until you see maybe Ether come back down below that 4K, which it's breaking out again, back through 4,200 right now, I would just leave your Ether in your account for now, and don't send it to your wife to buy those NFT horses.
Definitely not. A little headline here on Novavax, guys, just worth mentioning. Novavax just popped up here on a volume spike. You can see there was positive data just released on their combined. We mentioned this going back a month or two or so. They're working on a combined influenza / COVID-19 vaccine. So positive data coming out on that for NVAX. FireEye is the next one. They came out this morning talking about being involved in a possible solution for this cybersecurity attack on the Colonial Pipeline that was mentioned over the weekend. So FEYE getting a bump here.
Yeah, and we talked about this with Mark. This is a daily chart on FireEye. This is a consolidation. It has 2150 to 60 or so is the top end of this range. If it pops in there, I'm shorting in front of it. I don't see how it's going to break out. Well, I mean, look, obviously it could break out from here on this news. It's up only 4%, and the volume is very, very much so lacking. And all we're talking about here is that FireEye is working on this problem. Now, obviously, there's been a hack a week. And despite that, this year has been like ridiculous for them. You're really not seeing these stocks break out, despite the fact that you are seeing increased numbers over and over and over again, corporate hacks in the last few months here, and you're not getting any follow through. So like I said, if it pops up, I'm gonna fade it. But there aren't really too many levels that I like. I'm not just gonna sit here. Oh, this is frozen on Occidental for some reason, that chart. So I'll stick here on the daily chart. Yeah, I really don't see any other levels that I like. It's going to have to pop a buck or so, and then I'll be shorting FireEye off that high if you look at that daily.
Yeah, FireEye is like worst of breed. So I would definitely be shorting that one. I talked about it already off the top of this show. If you want to invest in a strong name, check out CrowdStrike. And I know it's a not recent IPO. I mean, when did these things come out here? Was it 2019, 2018? Oh yeah, there it was, 2019. So May of 2019, if our charts are correct, comes out at $60, and then you touch the high as 250. So that was about 4 or 5x there in a year and a half, 2 years. So now you're getting faded back into CrowdStrike. Again, just talking about buying stock for today's trade into this, I'm surprised some of these securities names are up a little bit, but then again, it makes sense because of the hit, right? And I think Mark was right. A lot of these corporations not really investing enough money, and I like Palo Alto as the number one. I guess that's a New York stock as the number one stock to buy in this space. And again, a lot of the charts look very, very similar here. Besides FireEye. If you can get this into the 320, I do like it, but we're not going to be day trading any of these names for me today anyways. Maybe CrowdStrike will be back over to that, but with a big spread here, I like Palo Alto to defend the cyber area. And you know what? If you actually like cybersecurity, I mean, why don't you can just go back to the grave here with Cisco. And I mean, this is a big name, obviously a well-traded name, but not well movement. It has a lot behind it with Cisco. Obviously, there's on the infrastructure for networking, things like that. And look at Cisco here. Like I just pulled this name out of my whatever there, so I haven't really looked at it. But this name has been breaking out. What a fantastic bottom! And again, like don't look at FireEye, don't look at some of these other names, right? Look at names that are actually doing something. Here's Cisco breaking that 54. So you want to have a name that maybe with a strong dividend and something that could run. It could be Cisco, but again, like Cisco is just back to where it was, like back 2 years ago. So I mean, a lot of this money has been pretty dead for a while. You had to pick up bottom. So I'm not in love with a lot of these names, but there's opportunities.
All right, let's talk about DraftKings here. We saw the big sell-off on Friday following earnings for DKNG. So analysts getting their first opportunity this morning to change their ratings, and there was many of them, 4, 5, 6 even, different ratings changes. About 50-50 split on the upgrades versus downgrades, price target increases versus cuts, guys, for DraftKings. But looking weak here to start off the new week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going long DraftKings today. That's for darn sure. Like I could have stepped away from that one after one trade that I was able to win on to the long side. I could have stepped away from DraftKings. I did try it off of that 50 level, and again, you're continuing to flush to the downside. Now, as you sort of get, oops, that's the NASDAQ. As you sort of get past this 47-ish break on the 15 here, that low that we're currently looking at, maybe there's some, I don't know, maybe there's going to be some support in around this like 42 to 44 cluster. It just feels like, predicting these for like day trading dip buys has not been overly successful for me. So I don't want to stick the neck out and keep going over and over again back to the well for the day trade to the long side on DraftKings. If there's going to be any kind of a trade for me, I'll look to try to play some momentum to the short side if it's even there. I don't like breaks, so that means I'm going to have to see some kind of strength and then sell into that strength. I'll be looking 48.5 at the first look. After that, I'll sort of back off if it breaks that 48.5 and maybe look at that 50 even. I did get into that square, guys, so I did mention this one a couple of minutes ago or so. It is starting to, I mean, this is very slow moving here, but it's starting to roll over a little bit, but just creeping to that downside. I'm going to take some out in front of 229 just in case there's a spike in momentum to the downside, get a couple bucks out of it, and then maybe if it on the open, it retests, try to get a better price back at 232. This is just strictly playing a little bit of weakness that we see over in TAC. And if they're not going to buy off the blow up earnings that Square had, I mean, it is what it is. I'll play the momentum to the downside after that retracement. And I just look at that 231 floor and say to myself, we can't hold this. I mean, coming back into like a 220, 225 does seem halfway inevitable, and it already found resistance at that 240. You have a nice out there at the pre-market high, so I like the structure of the trade here in Square. I just wish the market was taking these earnings as you think they should, which is blowout. Should have broken 240, but we did not. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, Square broke 240 on Friday, but didn't hold it. That's for sure. I think Square is just going to be a monster buy at some point, and I'll just keep buying it around 200. Hopefully, this was another name here that has failed. Obviously, we don't have as much conviction in DraftKings as we do in Square. DraftKings continues just to be a gambling website, but again, with more adoption, with more states needing tax money, it's still not approved like in very many states. I think it's like 20 states or something like that, let alone DraftKings themselves. So we're gonna have to wait to see here. Wow, I mean, I never thought this would be coming screaming back down to levels where we bought it, but it is, man. 37, 38. We did take some out in the 70s. We talked about that as that was happening. But other than that, I mean, I guess I'm waiting. I put down, you guys said where's the sticky note? It's actually up. It was up a while ago. There it is there. But I just said DraftKings long into 45. So you do have this 45 bottom here, 44.75. We could test that today. We're only down 1.3%. DraftKings every single day, basically last week, was like down. There's not even... I don't even think this is an up day there. What day was this? May 6th? It looks like it was an up day, but it may have not been there. And if it was, whatever. I mean, it's so much beat down here on DraftKings. I think you got to wait for this level. We'll see what happens at 45. I think that's where you could start. If you're going to start 45, you could start now. But wow, and Penn, guys, like look at Penn. Again, Penn was the one I got the question on last week from some of my friends. And yeah, I said the same kind of thing. You know, you got to wait for the tide to turn on some of these names. I would much rather, and this is going to sound crazy, but like, I would much rather buy Penn like right here at 95 when I'm like almost certain that we're heading back to the upside than buy it at 85. So I'd like, just think about that. Like, I'd rather buy a stock at 95 than 85. How does that make any sense?
That's fine.
I'm telling you how. It's because, you know, once it gets going there, then you do think that you have momentum to the upside instead of catching a falling sword. I would rather play it to the upside there. So we're going to have to wait on Penn and DraftKings. And if you want to level on DraftKings where to buy, I think just because this is so dramatic here, I think you can start buying now. And I know this is catching a falling sword, but again, you have these bases in here, 42s, something like that. If we do crack through 45, I think that's reasonable. And then if you miss the buy and you want to do the same thing, then you got to get past this earnings bump down here, which is 57. So we'll wait. Either way, man, you got to wait about $10, in my opinion, before you load up any which way on one of these gambling names.
All right, guys, pretty quiet in small cap world so far today, but I'll show you this one. One from last week, LEDS. This thing starting on Tuesday went from 320 to 13.5. We're back to 10 today. This line up here is 10.20. Above that, there's a consolidation around 10.50 through to 10.60. Decent volume coming in already in the pre-market here for LEDS. Watch 10.20 though. It gets above that. Probably goes higher today, guys.
Good look there. And got to come over to AMC just for a quick second here because that's 1.1 million share imbalance. I just typed a million. It's actually 1.1 million share buy imbalance. It just spiked up on a little bit of volume here into the $10 range before a hard reversal, holds 990. So you're going to maybe get a break of 10 even with a buy imbalance. With only a couple of minutes here to go, it's on the radar for me. I like some breakouts. They haven't been the best lately, but it's hard to ignore 10 even on AMC up 5%, sort of post earnings, a little momentum behind it here. And the fact that it just pulled back off that 10 and has not been able to break like this cluster at 85, holds up at 990. So I'll take a shot here. We'll try to get that long, only if it breaks 10 even. Now, this is going to be a stop order triggered on a 10 break. Maybe give it back to that 85 range. If it breaks that, hunt for a better price for sure. But AMC on the radar, not much on the locator there, but that is top of the list.
Yeah, I just saw that AMC, and another name here was Ford. I wanted to look at with only a minute to go here. Ford 1185 as the S&P looking a little stronger, obviously, and the Dow and S&P at record highs right now. And it's like, oh, boo-hoo, the NASDAQ's falling down. It's down 2.7%. 2.5% from its record. Okay, but here's Ford. 1185 could come into play today. Was the high on Friday. So we're going to watch out for Ford right now. A quick check on the imbalance locator. And again, the sticky note is up. Yeah, Neil just called it up there. There's Palantir on the sell. We have Palantir earnings tomorrow morning, so probably stay away, and we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Other than that, pretty quiet on here. We do have XOM with the buy. That's what we're looking to get into more XOM right now, maybe 62.80. We're going to wait for a 62.50 dump. So only trade I have on right now is a small one on XOM. I'm about to load up a little bit more shares here.
Yeah, and just to go back, that ALF is still on the move. It shook me out a little bit there, so I talked about not averaging in and just sort of getting out if it hit 5. It's still in the exact same range, 470 bottom, 5 top. So, like, I mean, you risk about like 10 cents if you can get the 90s. We got to drop that countdown. We're starting the week off here. Let's see if we can't start it right. Miss V has got the green. That thing is always so delayed. But the market is teetering. Can't figure out which way it wants to go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's get the party started.
All righty. Yeah, we'll watch Ford on a little bit of a break here. We will take some shares. Not going to be a big one. Would rather have it fall down a little bit rather than take this ultimate high in case the market does fall. But here we go, 1185.
Whoa.
We'll get into a little bit right now, guys.
Oh, there was no chance to get into that ALF. It touched 490. I was sitting there like trying to get like some 95s, like I just said. 455 already. So yeah, it's off to the races. It's off to the downside. I'll have to try this little cluster here where I got up before was like 470s. If I can get any kind of a pullback into that range, I'm going to try to be all over this one. But ALF already running away from me. They're flushing off at the open. I still have that square position, guys, but a buck in the money. And then I was waiting to buy Occidental on some dips. That also triggered right off of the open. There we go. So actually triggered right down into yesterday's close at 27.40 is yesterday's close. I got long in the 55 range. It's already sitting here in front of 28 even. So a bit of a break happening on Occidental Energy. Buying the dips. That's what we talked about. Now you get some winners here.
Yep, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. Did I get any more XOM? No, I did not. Because XOM right now is Rip City. We'll take out a little bit right now on XOM. There it is. So an instant win for you guys. So hit the first bang off right there. 25 cents now in the money and going higher and higher and higher. Unfortunately, we didn't get any more. I was waiting at 81s. It goes to 86 there, but that might have just been a wick. So we'll have to wait to see on that one. But there goes XOM. We talked about that one. Only position we have on. And sometimes that's all that you need right now. We have Ford and XOM. And this one flying 35 cents in the money now. XOM, we talked about that one. It's one of the only names we have on the sticky note today. XOM right there, 62.50, breaking through 62.330. So there it is, a nice win for us on XOM. Palantir tanking to 19 right now, guys. Stay away from Palantir. It doesn't look strong. Brendan.
Heads up on Workhorse. Just seeing a headline here for WKHS. They signed a new agreement with this EVAX, which is a commercial vehicle body solutions provider. The stock is actually down on the morning, even with that news, but doing a lot of volume, guys, for Workhorse.
And we'll ride this train and see if we can't power up there. We talked about Square on that little breakdown. Immediately took the $2. It just touched like what would have been a $5 winner, and I think we're going to take the 5 if we can get it. Call it my bias and not believing that this can continue too much further, but I do have this cluster in here around that 222 to 225, and I feel like if it touches all the way down there, I'll be looking for a place to pick up some Square in terms of long positions. But already we're about $4 in the money, looking for that sort of even 5 range. Want to make sure you don't look that gift horse in the mouth. But there was a break. We talked about maybe taking one breakout at least to the upside, and that was going to be AMC. This is like the slowest moving break I've ever seen. I got through 10. We're sitting at like 10.05, 10.06. It's managing to hold up. Like, it hasn't retraced too much outside of these dark pool prints, which are ridiculous, but you're not seeing a ton of acceleration through. So I don't know, AMC, you're disappointing me. I might have to take some off if it gets to that 5 again, just for a tiny little bit of a scalp, and then see if we can't hold to the quarters. But AMC, bit of a disappointment. Square, none at all.
Yeah, Square with a nice move to the downside. Good pickup on that one for sure. As Square looking to go downside. We still have Ford. I'm waiting for that 1175 to hit. Other than that, right now, DraftKings, Ford. We're going to watch Palantir, but we've just talked about Palantir, and this is why we said stay away from this one. I mean, am I super excited about Palantir? Yes, but we need to wait for it still, guys. Palantir into earnings. We talked about that 19 level. Just getting absolutely crushed. We're going to have to wait. We're back into here. I like this level, so I think it's worth picking some up at some point, but we have to wait for this name, guys. Palantir right to the downside right now. Let's see if 19 holds, but it's not looking too great right now.
Yeah, here it goes. We'll do some, I don't know, like moonwalking or forward, whatever you call it. AMC finally goes. Just got to complain about it a little bit. So we get through, get some at 5. Like I said, I was kind of begrudgingly going to do 8s. And then up here in front of 10-15s. I'll probably hold off until it gets to that 10 quarter, which I'd like to hope that it can do. Just to check back in on Oxy. So far, so good. If I can even spell OXY. Shouldn't be that difficult to do, but it is Monday. Just turns around off of 28. So you get the dip back into get back into the yesterday's close, or Friday's close, I should say. Holds off on that 28 break. I'll see if I can't defend in and around the pre-market low at 27.65 for a re-entry. I still think we can break through. I want to play the momentum to the upside on energy today. Oxy, it's just. If you guys have been following the show long enough, like way back when we actually used to trade on energy almost every single day, it just happened to be the one I was the most comfortable with. So you get back on the horse that you've ridden well. I don't know, whatever. Back into Oxy if it breaks down towards 27.65. I look to buy the dip. Again.
Yeah, we're just destroying this XOM, guys. New 52-week highs taken out here on XOM, straight to the upside. I mean, this is what we do, man. We're just firing off the hot dogs right now. XOM, we talked about taking that in the pre-market. Would have loved to have more shares on board, guys. We were waiting for that 63, and we did write down back to 62.5. That just never happened. So XOM right now, waiting on that one, but it is now at 52-week highs. So this may be worth taking a little piece off here, but we might as well let the runners run here for sure. NEO, what is the NASDAQ doing? Yeah, down 1%, yuck. Yeah, that's, I mean, Square obviously working on that move down to the downside, and so is NEO working downside right now as well. $36, like on a daily chart, it's looking like all of these stocks are very, very close right now to just getting absolutely destroyed if they do break. So you got to be very nervous about this. Like I said, NASDAQ only down that 3% from its highs. Now make that 4, I guess. But yeah, we're making moves to the downside here on NIO. We'll see if we can't do a little more work. I'm just averaging into this Ford until 1170, so I'm going to let that happen for itself a little bit here. This is a 20-minute chart, so NEO coming back down. We did see Thursday's bottom of 30, I mean, what is that exact level? 35.80. So 35.80 coming into question here. I think that's going to be a short for me when we take that out, 35.80 there on NEO.
Yeah, if we're gonna have a target, we're gonna hit it, and we'll daps it off there. I was trying to explain to you guys, just I don't want it to be a downside in Square. I absolutely don't. That's not true. But that 226, it bounces a couple of times here, so I'm going to take the rest of that profit out. It'll be just shy of that $5 mark. And look, if it was giving you these prints up at 230, I definitely would rinse and repeat. But that hasn't been the case. I can tell you that AMC's reversed on us. We're able to get some out at the top, but I'm still holding almost half the position as it pulls back into 10. Now the question sort of becomes, can it hold that retrace? Now it got to 990 before, didn't test 985. I think if we can hold that 990, we get another bounce to the upside, but I'd wait at least until there for any kind of an average into that particular name. This ALF, whatever. I'm going to call it ALF. Apologies. I'm not going to say the company name.
That's what it's called, ALF. Yeah.
No, but I forget the actual name of the company. It's like it's Alphi something or Alfie. I'll call it Alphi. But it broke the actual pre-market low here at 460s. I was able to get some back at 468 on a short. Scalp some at 50. It's broken 50s. Now it's dying once again. This stock has a history of doing that. This is what happened last week when it got to $6. We got as low that same day as like a 360, and the following day down to $3. So if we get back in to like $4, this would not surprise me whatsoever.
Okay, so we're going to also look here at Ford because we're coming close now. Like we said, we're not, I'm done taking like all these crazy breakouts, before the market even opens and things like that. So we did take a little bit of an 1185. It did go in the money 3 pennies. But like I said, to me, that's, not going to be worth taking any money out of this. So we're going to wait on it. And now we're coming back to this side here. If I can zoom it back out, it's 1170. So if this 1170 comes out, then we're going to be out of this name. So that's a name that we're looking at right now. Ford through 1170. Don't know, if it's going to hold or not. But again, with a stronger S&P than NASDAQ, I like this name, but it's fallen down again. They do have the chip shortage, so we're going to wait to see on Ford. But right now, XOM still, man, moonshining right now, up to $64. What's up, Brendan?
We saw that imbalance coming through on this one as well. FCX just coming up to pre-market highs and testing them as we speak here. 45.75 for Freeport, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, it's so incredibly strong. I don't think I'm going to get that fade on FireEye. That's obviously a pie in the sky. I can just cancel this one. Whatever. I need some strength off of the open to actually get a bit of a push to the upside to fade it. Instead, it's just going to immediately come the other way. So if I am thinking about shorting in this cybersecurity name, it's going to have to be off the current high, which would be that 2050. Sometimes you get buying at 930 on positive news. Clearly, that's not the case here. So I'll just sort of move my offer $1 down and play in front of 2075 is like the current pre-market high, but I'm gonna play in front of 2050 and get a price somewhere in that range. So bit of a change of action just because of the initial move on FireEye. Wish I had held on to Square, but I don't know. I guess I'm only so bearish on that name in any given day. Oxy is now pulling back. It gave the break at 28. It never came in to give me this 27.65. So I'll have to start playing off of like the 75 to 85 in and around VWAP. So I still want to buy the dips in energy. That'll be in the name of the game. Oxy just happens to be what I'm in.
Okay, and we're doing it again right now because NIO continues to make that march to the downside, and we did short it, and we got a decent amount out. Downside 70, first out 75 off of an 82 short, and then we got a 71 print, I believe, as that was near the end of the day there, or sorry, the bottom of the day. We take another 71 right there. So here goes NEO. We talked about that one to the downside, so we're going to wait on that. So right now, 10 cents in the money on NIO. Good trade. Hopefully, keeps going. We'll wait on the futures. We're out of 30%. And then XOM right now, man, just touches 64. Probably let's just take this out for a 66-cent winner, and we'll fire off the hot dogs as well on this one. So, wow, there goes NEO. Crash, boom, bang to the downside. We'll put a 61 bid there. There it is. We get hit on NASDAQ there, making that money. We get rebates on these stocks, right, guys? So that's a good trade there on on NEO. We just got to get out of our XOM. I think we ring the register here at $64, guys, as oil is starting to fade off a little bit here. So regardless of trying to hold this, I think we did a great job. We had the diamond hands on this, so let's just get out right now for a 70-cent win on XOM.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good one. I'm sort of watching the pullback, like you said, in Oxy as well. One name that I didn't mention in the pre-market, but we talked about last week on some weakness. Virgin Galactic just rolled over hard here at 1960. I look to see if I can't continue basically shorting this name. As the breakout in AMC works, the dip buy does not, so I'll flush that one down the toilet. But I got to get into this play on space at some point, and if it's going to have to be off of this like 19 quarter or so, apologies to these wicks, it's actually still trading at the low of the day. If it can bounce back up into the 19 quarters, I want to be fading Virgin Galactic, which is again getting absolutely shellacked. Well, it's only down 3.5%, but the last couple of sessions have been not too kind to it. I'll stay on the short side for now.
Yeah, you got to watch out for our friend DraftKings as well. We'll look at that. Out of half now, as we just took a 66 or what was that? Yeah, so we took a 61 and a 64 there on NEO. So I'm just trying to average back until about VWAP here. If VWAP breaks, we'll get out. But I mean, this has been a short trade, so good on us for taking that. Just to check back here in Ford, we did take that long down here, 76. We talked about that. We'll take one more piece downside, and then we'll have to get out if it breaks that 70. Just making sure, yes, we do have the order out. Okay, good. We did try to get some out on the bounce back up. So if we can get to VWAP there and basically be flat at 80, something like that, we may try to get a little bit out. But right now, Ford looking like a sick duck. I mean, just straight to the downside right here. So we're just... we're going to wait on it a little bit. I mean, I'm really happy that we have the short on XOM, on NEO. That's going to be a good one. I've only in 3 positions right now. They've all won so far. Well, not Ford hasn't won, sorry. NEO and XOM, the ones we've gotten out of so far, so good. Uber, 46 and change. What else do I have written down here? Palantir, I just said watch that one. Let's just check out DraftKings here because I didn't have much on my board today other than I do want to, oh man, what did I miss? The only one I missed, the top of the list. Where is Facebook? Short through 313. Yeah, good one. There's the 313 break, guys, and since then, right down to 312. So that was a good one. If you checked out the sheet here, 313, like we talked about it, don't have it, so it doesn't matter. But there's the break straight off the open. There it is, 313, never comes back in. If you had shorted that one, you're in the money $3, so congratulations. I didn't have it that short, but there goes NIO still trying to battle back a little bit here. Did we just flush maybe, and now we're rebounding here on the market? We could take one more piece out of NEO.
Yeah, just watching this LEDS, which just went hard to the north side, up almost 50%, I should say, but trying to break this 12 level. It did have a double top if you go back into Thursday's action above $13. So if it's putting in a lower high right now, a couple of failed breaks at 12 even, I want to see if I can play a consolidation, which is a little bit lower. It's about this 1150 to 1165 area. I don't like holding that all the way to the high of the day, but if you can use that 75 to 80 range as a bit of cover, it's been bullish. But anytime you get a failure in a lower high in a stock, which is giving you a chance to retrace, I'll take my crack at it. I just don't want to give it to that high of day. So call it like 1175. That's about all I'm willing to give this one too. And got to check back in because I think I just got some of that oxy on the reload there. And of course, literally, as I'm talking about it and giving you my out, there it goes, in and out very quickly on leads. I'll step away from it. If it breaks the high of the day, I'll look for that 13 area to get a bit of a push to the upside. I just mentioned oxy, so from one trade into another, and it starts to slam back down. Should I have waited maybe for the bottom? 27.50. Yeah, got some shares back in at 75. Let's look to see if we can hold the actual opening range bottom and bounce off that price before I reload. Should have taken some out on the 28 break, but did not. Let's see how the dip buy does. Square also should have held on. That's out through 225. 224 it's sitting at. Market looking weak again, Brendo.
We were talking about Tyson Food a little bit last week around the Beyond Meat report. TSN downside today in negative territory here after they reported in the pre-market. Not good for TSN. Tyson, guys.
Yeah, you know what? That was another one I wanted to talk to Mark a little bit about there. We'll do it on Wednesday. Was the Beyond Meat trade. So we'll wait to see what he thinks about Beyond Meat against that Tyson Food report there. I prefer, I mean, we talked about this over and over again. I like Beyond Meat for a reopen trade, and I've sort of paired that out for you on why we do like that. Okay, Ford's getting ready to get out, man. I'm not going to wait on this one forever. And it's a good point there. Someone said, Sean, that might not be the bottom in NASDAQ. It's only one green tick there, one green candle. I forget who that was. I think it was, where was it? Was it Steve? There it is. Yeah, Steve. What's up, Steve? Hope you're doing well, Steve. Yeah, you're probably right. But again, I don't want to get caught here, right? And so we did take a little bit more out of this play. So that's fine. So now that's 20, like 10, 20, 40. This is all 10% out. So we only have 40% left, which is what I'm trying to get at. Right now, XOM on the backside right now, NEO. And then I'm wondering right now, I've switched over from Palantir because I really want to go short on Palantir at some point. Man, like these wicks again are just, do you have these on your chart today, Neil?
All over the place.
All over the place. Okay, I was wondering if I had a setting that was a little bit wrong. Hard to see, man, what's happening with this, but to the downside here, 1890, maybe something like that, even a break lower on Palantir. The report comes tomorrow, and here comes the NASDAQ to the downside. What's up, Brendo?
All right, we were talking in the pre-market, guys, about copper, miners, and the copper price itself, record highs this morning. Here's another one just popping up on a volume scanner here. Southern Copper, SCCO, 7% monster volume, just testing 83 here for SCCO.
Yeah, another big move over in that space. And I could show you, we were just talking about Freeport strong as well. I tried to get some shares in Alpha if it tried to get back to that 450. Look, it's not even giving you strong pushes back to the upside here. So I'm still hanging on to the original shares we had. The shares we had at the open at that 68. We did have some luck with those 90s. Of course, should have got back in like 80 or 85. But if it's going to be 450, it needs to push here strongly. I'm holding through a low break at 420. At this point, you might as well just look at that $4 range and say, I won't get out until it heads to that, or I get in some kind of a pullback. And speaking of pullbacks, we talked about Oxy a second ago. It's now consolidated off the pre-market low. I've dug in once, and then we're in the last entry waiting for it to bounce actually off of that pre-market, opening range bottom, which was 27.44. It just bounced at 45s. Now that I've seen that happen, this is it. Last load in on Occidental. If it gets back to VWAP, I want to make sure I'm getting some profit out. This time, there's no way I will not take profits at that 28 range if it gets to the high of the day. Market's still sliding, and I'm kicking myself for a couple of shorts that I didn't hang on to that square short. It is what it is. But probably should have done so. You're going to see it continue to press down towards like 223. There hasn't been much of a pullback inside. I can show you 25, 26 has been about it. Ignore all those dark pool wicks up there at 229.50. There was some offers transacting there at the open. That's why you're seeing continual prices go through there. Alpha, I wish I could get you. And AMC, that's a tale of like two trades, right? Like the breakout on AMC, there was that buy and balance that we saw off the open, and then it flushes back down, picks some up when it tries to bounce off of 975, and then that stops out. It's trying to bottom here at 960, but giving almost half of it back here on AMC as the momentum has died. Sometimes you get those buy imbalances, and that first trade for the first couple of minutes or so, that's your really only shot. And when it reverses, you got to get patient. If you're averaging back in at 10, you're getting crushed. Try what I thought was the bottom at 975. Turns out it wasn't true.
Yeah, no, I like that talk. Look, I mean, Neil and I, we're here to make some money. We're here to make some calls for you. And that AMC, you never know when that's going to blow. So I think that's well worth the risk on some of these trades today. And that's what we're doing right now on Ford, as we're back to 79 is our average price. We did take a 73 there. I got a little bit nervous and took some of those out right there for a loss. So we're not going to be celebrating Ford. It goes up two more pennies. We're in the money, and we're starting to cash in a little bit more on F. But just letting our day go through here, as it's been a big one, man. We were able to get out of NIO. So NIO, again, we got another tick there. So now we only hold 30% of this one on the downside here, just in case it does return. But I am getting a feeling that this NASDAQ is turning around here. What's up, Brendan?
More earnings, guys. We've heard about Party City. A lot of analysts talking about this one on the reopening side of things as well. They reported in the pre-market here, not good for Party City. There was a loss bigger than expected, but nice bump here, 11%. Their forecast, they're talking about obviously more business coming as things get reopened. So testing highs here for PRTY.
Party.
There's definitely some parties that'll be having to happen when the reopen does go. Well, I don't know. We'll just hit the stamp of approval for buying the bottom in Oxy. I just wish I had waited a little bit more patiently. And with the entirety of my entry point, I have a price better than the 59s that we're sitting in. But it goes to VWAP. I said I would take some out if it got there. So I'll start scalping off that 15 to 20 cent range. If it breaks 28s, fantastic, but at this point with the market trying to get back to the upside, you want to make sure some of your longs that you're going to capitalize on here. And I keep coming back to it, but that ALF just doesn't want to go anywhere for me. Doesn't want to go anywhere for me to get back into it. LEDS, on the other hand, every now and then, this isn't top wick, but I mean, that's top wick. It's top wick of this little move here. So I did try that lower high rollover. Probably didn't give it up enough room for that setup. I'm never really giving it until the high of the day. That's just the way I like to roll the trade. Would it have worked? I got out, and a second later, you're sitting down at 11 bucks. So it would have been almost perfect, but it is what it is. I knew where my stop was, and I have to use it. I have to stick to my rules. It's going to cost me a bit of a trade here. It's still holding and bouncing off of VWAP now. It's not really, ignore these wicks. It did trade down to 1066, but for the most part has held a VWAP bounce at 11 even, so leads still a little bit strong in my books.
Yeah, I just realized I actually did not get out of XOM at the upside, so let's see if we get out right now as it's bouncing around through 30 here. We want to take the win, man. It's 25 cents in the money. Neil reminding me there about Oxy, and I was like, oh my God, I still have some of this XOM. So we're going to wait on that one. Hopefully it comes back up. If the market maybe can rally just a little bit here, we can get that oil bump. Here we go, let's go. If we can get it out at 63.50, I think we're getting a little bit too nitpicky here. What's the difference? It broke that VWAP there. So we tried to get out in the 80s, remember, when I was talking about it. And unfortunately, I just hit off for enter, and it just kept going down. So not a good trade for that. I mean, we're still 60. I mean, now we're 30 cents in the money. We're 60 cents in the money. Let's see if XOM wants to get back to the upside. It's having a problem right now, as maybe our charts just got fixed. I don't really see too many issues right now. But that VWAP is 56. So where did I put my offer? I actually put it right at 40. I think we can probably bring this down a little bit here into these high 40s and just get this out. It's been a big move up for XOM. So let's get it out. I mean, I know you're on Oxy over there.
I'm out, man.
Yeah. What? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm out of Oxy. You're out. Just as you started saying it, I'm like, that's why I get some of it out here. Like the first dip buy, great. The second one, we'll end up taking some out for a winner, then the rest out for a loss. So you end up overall with a disappointing trade here because I did have that stop at the opening range bottom. But every now and then, I miss out on something at the open. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember 196 on BNTX. Okay, yeah, that went $5. Obviously, I got into Square pre-market, so I usually don't trade to it. Like, it is what it is. I'll take one of those breakdowns. Once I'm into one, I don't have the stop on the other because I don't want to have to manage them both. But second time, hopefully a charm. BNTX tests right back up, bounces $5, gets right into VWAP, 97, 97.5. It just rolled over through 96 again. I actually hit the 96 bid because there was a dude there for Actually, a couple of thousand shares, by the way. Anyway, so it broke that. It's a couple of bucks in the money. If I can actually get a break down through, actually, I should be taking this out if I can. Try to take some out here at in front of 194. See if I can't get a couple of dollars the same way with the square trade. And then if it flushes into 190, I'll probably look to 191 for about $4.50 to $5. So very, very similar structure here, as long as we can hold that 197.5, 198 retrace, which it's done once. So we got the BNTX trade. I say it time and time again. And this is how you keep like the plane, I guess, flying with money, not crashing. That's kind of, whatever. It's how you keep the money sort of coming in or the successful trades coming through. Just because that original breakdown of 196 came and went without me, it doesn't mean that I can't use that same level for another trade. So it comes back, failed breakout through there, also happens to be VWAP. Now I'm able to scalp off $2. Cannot be a losing trade from this point, even if it takes out that 197.5. And I'm not even thinking we break this 190 bottom. I'm going to get out in front of that low. And if it turns out that that's too early, fine. That's the structure of the trade I want. First time through, you hold to the moon maybe. But the second time, I'm always thinking the move goes less. Miss V?
Hey Neil, PTNX is going to the moon. Therapeutics company is up more than 100%. Do you guys keep an eye on this stock? And can you give us a quick review on that?
PTIX, sure, I can have a look at it. I haven't really, I don't think you've traded it, right?
No.
Okay, so PTIX here, for what? Okay, was this a name that maybe Brendan's given to us? I've been not paying too much attention to what's been happening on some of these movers. 281. Okay, come on, let's go. Let's load up. Oh, come on. They're on the NASDAQ here. We're out of a little bit of Ford. My NEO right now, guys, wow, 90 cents in the money. PTIX here breaks that 360. So you do have VWAP back there at 360 on the 1 minute chart. Obviously, this got heated up here off a nice halt, so we'll wait to see. Obviously, when you're trading halts, Valeria, you don't want to get caught in the halt. This one moves to the upside. Halt price 360. I look for a short back down through 360 if you're on PTIX, but yeah, 18 million shares up 98%. Daily chart, new name, so we'll have to wait to see where this one wants to go, but even a break of 485 bucks wouldn't be surprising here on PTIX. NIO, right down to 35, touched it on big volume, so that could be a spot of concern for me here on NIO as we're still short, guys. This is 80 cents in the money, so yeah, today, like I go 1 and 1 here. We did have Facebook short. Should have still had that. We didn't have it, but we talked about that. I talked about going bearish today. Facebook was 313 was the call. It's at 309, so that's a good call. Neil had Square, big time call in the money. So I say, you know what? Let's go over to the next best, and we went over to NIO, which can be a mover. You guys know that. Both sides, up and down. Big time flush to the downside. We take that low of the day. That was at 937. Flushed it all the way back down. I'm looking at this spot right here, 35.25 to get out and just put that 50 cents in our pocket and move, 60 cents in our pocket and move on, as we'll see if we get a flush back to 35, but I'm going to try to be wrong if it breaks through 25.
Unfortunately,
35.
Usually we have locates on just about everything, but every now and then it's going to happen to you. PTIX, I just checked. Got a quote, but nothing available right now for some shorts. I'll see if I can't pick some up. It was only $0.015 earlier, but there was a nice little shot to get a consolidation short at 430. I maybe missed the boat on that one. I'll have to look. If it bounces off 4, which it looks like it's doing here, I wouldn't touch it until it gets back to 5 even. I'll come back to that LEDS, if only because I said I would stay away from this one until it tests or potentially breaks the current high. That is exactly what it's looking to do. So LEDS, I go back to the daily, well, you can go to the daily chart or you can go to the 15. I'll go back to the 15 chart so you can see last week, this 1350. Been a bit of a double top there, 13 the lower high. Let's see if it can't press into that. You want to be at least a little bit patient with plays like this, especially if you're looking for shorts, which is essentially what I'm going to be doing here. Well, hopefully doing successfully a second time through or a fourth time through. The first two were okay. But I'm looking 1350. It's got to press through the high. Otherwise, maybe a flush to 11 gets me on the bear side of the trade. I might have stared that gift horse in the mouth. I don't know. I'm not supposed to do this, but it's entirely possible that I did this with BNTX. And I said I would get out in front of the low of the day. I just spiked down to 191.50. So that could have given me like $4.50 the same way with the square trade, but I was sitting a little bit deeper than that into the bid. Now you're getting a bit of a bounce back to the upside, so it's entirely possible I should have taken this one out earlier. I'll have to look at that 192 just in case we get some consolidation. I don't want this putting in too strong of a lower high, and then I've thrown away too much of the profit on BioNTech.
Okay, so we just took another little short here on NEO, waiting for it. There it comes. Come on, waiting for it to come back in. We're short at 17s now. We averaged. We got out first of all at 15 or whatever that was there on NEO for a nice 70-cent win. So more than that actually. That was sorry, less than that. We're short at 83, out at 15. So yeah, 70 cents. And now we're gonna go short again. There it is again on the short. So another chicken dinner winner as we're riding. There it is. Go as we're riding the short train back down to the downside right now. Breaking lower now, 35 and change on NIO. There it is. Tick, 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 boom. Right now making moves, man. 34. We just got out at 35 even. We got out at 35.07. So I mean, again, that's a dime right there. And then that is 17 cents, right? And so now we'll wait to see if it comes any more downside. It looks like it's trying to come back up. We're out of half of this trade right now. So I don't, I love to hold this, but again, I do realize we're at a little bit of a danger zone right now with that 35 even. I mean, look at this. This is scary. It's like a Palantir scary here. If we can break down below, which we already did, this number right here, 34, like 34.14. I don't think that happens today, guys, but I mean, the NASDAQ, like, Puke City right now. I talked about maybe the NASDAQ getting some legs here. They did, but then right to the back to the downside there. So 13, that's that 13,500 again. So that's bouncing off there right now, 13.5. Don't know if that was a level Arun covered, but there's the bounce again off 13.5. So that could be something. Right now, we're going to go 3 for 3, but we're waiting still. Well, not, I mean, we're 2 for 3 right now. But Ford here looking to get some more out. We were able to take a bid down here at 72. That's why you're seeing our average price 77. Out some 75s, out some 77s. So now we got work to do, man. This needs to come back up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're going to get out if it breaks through 69. And here goes NEO again, trying to get back down through 35. Let's put another bid, take another 15 cents, and then let the last 30, 40% go on a break back to the downside here, breaking through 35. There it is. The low of the day is 34.95. So a good average in. Let's just take a piece off. A winner can't be a winner unless you realize it. Right?
Exactly. And I just realized some winners for the short side, but I'll talk about the one that just came into the long side. Coinbase, talk about 260, waiting patiently for it. Now 250, I got away with 250. I took 251 last week in front of 250, and that was the way to go because it never even tested 250. With the 260, I tried the same approach, 261.12, because I just like to see 112 on my blotter. But anyways, it holds this 260 level on the dime. So you could have had the perfect price. I'm looking to take some out at that 262 quarter and see if it can't get up towards 264. So that's the long that we just put on. We're going to go to happening now because it's already 10 o'clock and come back and update some of the shorts.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at how things are shaping up so far. It's all the NASDAQ right now that is dragging things to the downside. You can see 1.3 for both the 100 and the composite. So tech stocks under pressure once again. The Russell here right above it, 0.75 to the downside. So small caps and the S&P. I mean, the S&P basically break even. You can see the Dow at the top, 0.7 to the upside. So Dow back in record high territory. Everything else struggling. Let's have a look at a few things we were talking about in the pre-market. Yeah, it's continued here for DraftKings right off the open, straight to the downside, 48 to 45 now. Day lows as we speak here for DKNG. Apple as well. This is why the NASDAQ under pressure so much right now. 128 coming into play here for Apple. We're below all of these levels that were supported on Friday, guys. Back over to you.
Did I hear 45 there on DraftKings? You might have heard me yell that out on the outside. Wow, that was the level that I like. Thank you, Mr. Wickens, right there. Thank you for this call, guys. This is what we talked about. It doesn't get any better than this. Like, look at these numbers on here. Facebook short, XOM long, DraftKings short. Well, long at 45. We'll see about that one. Ford wrong. We'll said watch Palantir at 20, and then that's enough, guys. We have the rest. Oh, well, Ford is actually now going into the money for us as we're long at 11.75 now. It's not going to be a winning trade unless it goes higher, but Ford nicely. Okay, I guess, yeah, okay, my daily chart's not changing on Ford, but there is DraftKings downside. So there's Ford back to view up, a nice out, picked it up on the downside. Now we let it roll. No more outs on Ford as we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. Look at that out on NEO right there, 98's good out. We did make it move down to 86. So a nice little short. Believe in your positions, guys. Downside today, down. Normally it's NEO going short, but today, basically all my win. Well, nah, I mean,
I don't even have
Neil's
a
my
short.
biggest win, but XOM on the long was a successful one. So right now we're going to go 3 for 3, hopefully, if Ford can get going. But I'm surprised Ford's still going. So we'll have to do some work on that.
We'll go gates of hell for this stock. Now, I don't have any shorts left. One of them is because Alf just broke 4 even. I said I was going to get out in front of that 4. That was a bit of a target. Maybe I should have given it to Friday's close at 370 and left maybe a bit on the table. It was a 468 breakdown. We stuck to our rules. I don't like averaging in when it makes that push before the open. I always say to myself, allow it to go, get back in either on a push back up at 9:30 or on a breakdown at 9:30. Either way, you're going to be able to take that trade almost 10 times out of 10. The other short is going to be BNTX, and again, sticking to the rules here. So the second time through, I'm not anticipating that it was going to break that 190. We take the $4.50 in the second half of the trade. Same thing we did with that square trade. So we like the price, we like the entry point. We took them both. Had to wait for the second entry on BioNTech. Obviously, you're going to see it continue in. I'm looking back to the previous close was down here at 184, but I'm sort of looking back to that range in the post market where it was holding like a 185 or so, just to see if there can't be a little bit of a bounce on BNTX. In terms of buying any dips, I mean, I don't know. I'm kicking myself because DraftKings there, I didn't want to fight it. I wanted to look for a way to go short. Whoops, it's DKNG. I wanted to look for a way to go short on DraftKings. This is like kicking my ass here. Let's do it this way in the quote board because it wants to try to freeze on me. There you go. I was trying to play the short on any strength. So it's like whatever way I want to get into DraftKings, it's going to do the absolute and bitter opposite. The breakdown trade was the only thing that you could have. 45 on a dime has held a couple of times here on a 1 minute, but it's still looking relatively weak. I almost want to see it, Sean, break 45, maybe flush some people out. And then if it triggers some stops, maybe that lightens the load, and then there's a better long position off of that. Because taking it in front seems a little bit dangerous. And Coinbase doing nothing, holding at 261, in or out of the money, 30 or 40 cents, and nothing much else. Brendo?
Big 5, guys. This has been quite the move, to say the least. This is a daily chart over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row now, straight to the upside. We're testing 34, up another 10% for this big 5.
Wow, like, yeah, we know a lot of you guys have been on that name. That's been a weird one. Big 5, up, 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 and away. Congratulations, anybody on that name for sure, as you've been cashing out on Big 5. Wow, big name there. Palantir, 18, now down to 18, so 7.35%. You do have this bottom at 22. Wondering if that is the bottom, but the NASDAQ telling us no, as it just keeps on rocking to the downside right now. So we have to wait for Palantir, guys. I'm willing to wait to this 1850 mark. That would be kind of sweet if that can come into play. But other than that, I don't know. Like, do I really want to risk right now going long on Palantir? I mean, if we have a 20-minute chart, it's nowhere. So we are just down, down, down. There's nothing on Palantir. Here's a daily chart for Palantir here as well. It's just been disgusting. We talked about that right here when it wasn't breaking 24. People said, oh, you know, do we like $30 calls? I was like, no. We need to break above VWAP, or sorry, 50-day, until we get that happening. I mean, Palantir just continues to make moves, man. Does it go to 14 tomorrow? It's earnings, man. Kathy Wood, like, I told you guys that on Friday. If you watched our after show, like, she thinks that getting smoked on all of her positions is a good thing. I can't wrap my head around that, but she continues. Congratulations, Kathy. You're getting smoked again today, so you must like that a lot. Up to 81 goes forward. Let's take out another piece here of this name. We're in the money right now. 7 pennies on Ford. Sorry, 6 pennies on Ford.
And I'm canceling more offers as I sit here in Virgin Galactic. No bounce in sight, so continues to flush. Wish I got into that one just a little bit faster. Watching coin as it heads to the low of the day, which is at 260. Now 260 on a dime. It's bounced once. If it can't break, it bounce again. I'm out here. We'll take the hit on the long in Coinbase. Tried to bottom pick and it didn't work out. And we just talked a second ago about that DraftKings, thinking that, okay, well, if it breaks through the low of the day, you get a bit of a failed break to the downside. It gets to like 44.82 and then starts to hold up a little bit. So that's an actually point I like a little bit better. Like, shake some people out there and see if I can't pick some up around these quarters here. Just got 45.28. That's a trade that's actually worked for me in the past, where you get that obvious, you get sort of that level price of a 45. You get some stops that trigger, kind of like what happened in Coinbase, only that's not the look I like on Coinbase, because 250 is the real level. So 45, I just got some quarters in. And If it breaks a low, you have like 50 cents worth of risk from that point. Otherwise, you're just looking to see if you can't get all the way back up to like that 46 to 46.25 VWAP. So make 50, make a buck, risk 50. Makes some sense to me on DraftKings. If you're going to catch a falling sword, sometimes let it go through someone else's hand at 45 and then rebound through.
Yep. Yeah. Ford. What were you talking about? Ford there? No.
No, that was DraftKings.
Right. Yeah. DraftKings. Oh my God. Uber as well, down to $46 right now. We just took another piece off on Ford. I still think we get back to the high, and if we do, man, that'll be a big win for us. So we're still holding out hope for that one. I have not decided to catch a falling knife yet. We did get out of our XOM there. That appears to be a mistake, as it does go back to the upside there. You can see where we're long XOM 63.20, out at the exact same price, 63.46 or 47. On that move. Damn it, should have held on a little bit more. It did get as high as 64 there, which was the 52-week high, but we did miss that one. So that's Ford there. AMD, like a lot of these names, man, like a lot of these names that I like here, and I told you it's not shopping time yet, but when it is, have some names written down and come on. For me, it is going to be AMD at some point, as well as more. I still want to get some more Palantir into the long-term account as well. But AMD, like this is just downside. If you don't like AMD, I mean, how much is AMD down? 3%? What's NVIDIA down today? Same thing. Let's see. There it is. Yeah, so the charts look identical here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still, come on. NVIDIA still look identical. Downside rate there, so that's 576. Looking to see about longs. I think it might be a little crazy to look for longs right now, but we will. Oh, our NEO trade. Oh, okay, that's gone back to the upside. So kind of forgot about this one. We have 10% left here on NEO. My out was going to be, just double check here, 41s. So we're getting really close to that out, but we have broke upside right now. Let's take a little short against that 41. We still like that size, but right now, NEO retracing back upside might be a good opportunity for a short. What's up, Brendo?
All right, another one with an upgrade today. Morgan Stanley, Alcoa, big move here, 7% at one point. This is 52-week high territory for Alcoa today, guys.
So I can tell you this, look, I mean, talk about shorting FireEye, and obviously I'm not going to get a chance to do it because it's not doing anything. It's trying to break back above 20 several times here. I tried this 2050. It doesn't even seem to want to push into that range. At some point, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel the order and give up on it. Leads, on the other hand, did not get to $13. It broke 12 a couple of times here, getting to about 12.36. Now it's going to be bouncing off of, attempting to bounce off of VWAP another time, see if it can't get towards that high. If it stalls out, and this is what happened before, like it sort of wicked me out at this like 1885 range, but if it stalls out at about $12, I would try the short that way, or just look maybe down towards like an 11 break on LEDS. It feels like the sentiment is starting to change on this particular one. To go back to another ALF, bounces off of, shy of yesterday's, Friday's close, I should say, back above this $4. I'll be all over ALFI if it breaks this 420 and gives me anything between 20s to about this 440, the last consolidation it had where I was getting some shares out. So I'm looking for that range. It's getting close to bouncing back and giving me finally one of these names that I want to be fading, bouncing off the low, and I can get back into it. But I got to be patient. DraftKings, essentially flat. I got 20 cents in the money. I was looking for about 40 or 50 to take that first exit.
Yeah, DraftKings, good trade. Good trade. I love that 45, knock on wood. I love that 45 level, guys. We've talked about that over and over again. And that was the only one that was on my note. And of course, Neil took it. I didn't get over there in time for, I did, but we were looking at Ford and a few other things, including NEO. But that's a good break, man. That was exactly the level that we talked about, guys. Look what's written on the sticky note. I'll post it as well. Short to 45, long 45. So there it is right there. Hopefully you're able to cash in a little bit anyways on that movement. There it is written in stone, the sticky note. If it says to do it, you should do it. And I should listen to my damn self because there it goes right now to the upside. Good move on DraftKings now. Good trade for sure there. We'll look to get out of some more trades now because there goes Ford right up to 82. We took another piece out there. We are long Ford 74 right now. So going to be a loser because we took out too many down here. But again, if we can get back a little bit higher there, we do like Ford and we do like what's going to happen to the upside on this name. So that's Ford. NEO, okay. We have one of our favorite things that we've brought back from the dead here. We are now...
Okay, I'm reloaded.
On Ford, and there goes Palantir as well. We'll take a little bit out. a little bit out on that one if we can. Oh, we took a 50 through that. NEO right here, it looks like it's going to break. There's our last reload. We're short at 34, guys. We took an 80-cent win, so it's not the end of the world, but we're going to give this back to 50 in case this doesn't go. But there goes Palantir. We're long at 52. I mean, let's take a little bit out at 60 if it goes. We took some out right there, but we're looking for a rebound now. Like, I can't be long. This is the thing. I can't be long Palantir and short NEO, right? They're going to basically trade identical, so we'll wait to see which one pops. Let's get a little bit out on Palantir, as NEO right now not the one going to the downside, but we have a nice price. We'll wait to see if it breaks through 50. Our average price right now 35 here, averaged in. We're not going to give everything back, guys, on NEO. Let's just see if it comes back to the downside right now, short 35s.
A stock that has not seen much downside recently, US Steel, just another 7%. It's pressing $30 up here, which has been a fantastic move to the upside. We just got to 1,000 likes, and thank you guys so much for the support. I love US Steel, but I mean, every time it makes one of these levels, I'm sort of looking at it slow down, and I'm looking at $30, almost even here, and thinking to myself, I couldn't live with myself if I didn't try this. Now, I want to make sure when I look at the level 2, just to make sure there isn't anything like too crazy that I'm ignoring, but there are some offers shy of that. I'm looking in the 90s, so I'm probably going to end up starting this one in the mid 80s to high 90s and look for something right in front of that 30 even, if only because there are some sellers, get that proper English, in the low 90s. I'll see if I can't get some in the 80s, starting to decelerate a little bit, and I want to see if there isn't a scalp trade, but maybe even a bit of a hold. Like if I can, get 83s, maybe get some, get like 88s or so, get something in that like low 90s range. Get some out if it goes to like 65, 75, but then see if it can't hold on for a retracement back even into this like 29.50. Pullbacks are healthy, and it's already given one from 50 down below 29 even. So that's like a 60-cent retracement. If we can do anything like that, I'll try it again here. I mean, obviously, 88s. If I can get an average price of 90, I'm talking just getting it back to 29.50 is a fantastic look. And if it can hold $30, fantastic. But man, US Steel is strong, stronger than even I was anticipating here. And I've loved this bad boy for a while. Brendo?
Not a terribly exciting trade on intraday basis, but nice looking daily chart here. GLW Corning picking up a contract from Apple today, guys. Just popped up on some volume here, heading back towards day highs, which was 46.50 area for GLW.
Yeah, I love that Corning play, Gorilla Glass and whatnot there. So good move. Okay, NEO, we just did take a bit out there. Try to get it out for flats, man. 41s, 40s, things like that. We did a good job of that. So we're out there. Give or take about half of this position. That's why you see our average price now 41s. It's still going to come out if we break through that 50 level. So that'll be that. We'll take a small long if it breaks it back above it, as maybe the NASDAQ wants to go. So that's that play. Palantir. I mean, it's winners, and this is what we're doing. You guys know, those of you that have watched me trade Palantir recently know this is how I'm doing this, guys. Like, just trying to scalp some wins out, man. It's been a tough go on Palantir. I don't need to tell you that. So we're scalping some wins out. We are now out of, unfortunately, fortunately, 60% of that trade. So we're going to wait on that one. And here we go. This is what we're talking about here as NEO now. Let's go, baby. Getting accelerated to the downside. We'll put a bid at 31. We just took a 29 bid there, actually, on NEO. Remember, we're short 41s. So, darn it. Good thing we had that 29 bid. We went over a little bit too late to get out the rest, but that was a good one there. Maybe it's not too late to get out of some Palantir. It's still 58, 59. You know what? Let's cash out. Well, there it is. One more piece at 59 there as it goes through 60. So that's a good trade. We didn't get out enough. There it goes. Now we'll reverse to the long. Good out there on NEO, man. That was a good actual trade. Now we'll try long as it breaks through VWAP. So now we're going to be long NEO back. We just saw resist 30, so we'll give this one to 30 again. See if we have this one caught a little bit here on the long.
Well, after all of that whining and complaining that FireEye wasn't going to give me a shot to sell it on strength, well, that's a bit of strength through $20. So on volume, it spikes through 20. Now, I talked about that 20-50 area. I was sitting here in the mid-30s, and for now, it's slowing down. I just got that 38 here. I'll see if I can't get some more shares on a rollover, but you got to be a bit careful how you average into plays like this. I want to make sure I didn't miss out on it altogether, so I did have the order out there just to get that first bit of the position. I got into US Steel. I just talked about that off of $30. I apologize for the wicks on this chart, guys, but I get an average price here at 91, essentially. I mean, I kind of said 91, 92, so close enough. If I can get some out in the mid-70s, first scalp 15, 20, 25, 30, I'll hang on to some just in case we can break that 29.50. But, you know, obviously, I look at that $30, I look at what U.S. Steel has done, and the unbelievable run it's been on, you know, not just like the 10 break, but that $20 support that it's had. I look at 30, it's a psychological level. It's such a big ramp up over $2 from bottom to top on this move. It's just too fantastic not to think some people are taking profit in front of 30. You know I like that trade. You know I'm always going to have that set up, almost independent on what the stock is here. But it's bouncing off of our first exit. If it breaks 30 even, I'm not really looking for a reversal into the long position. I'm only looking to get out if 30 breaks. So far, so good on U.S. Steel. As far as DraftKings goes, that is a different story altogether. As usual, come on, give it to me. As usual, this is what happens. It gets along in DraftKings, like, yeah, I'll take some out if it gets to that 45, 60 area. It goes to like, I'm at 65, and it goes to like 63, of course. Missed by a couple of cents, so might have actually looked that gift horse in the mouth. And then, of course, if DraftKings breaks the low of the day, it'll be the usual result where I barely missed taking that first leg out, which would have guaranteed a profitable trade, only to see it break the low of the day. Hopefully we hold that low, march right back through that 65, then get some out of it when it gets to a VWAP in 46. But until that happens, there'll be no celebration for me on DraftKings, even though it's still in the money.
Well, you said the word money. Money. All right, guys, there it is. Palantir, the money continues to come through on Palantir. There it is, man, a 50 break, no problem. Out, most of them out 60s, 58, 60s. You saw that. Goes right up to VWAP, and there it is. We'll celebrate for the Palantir win. We talked about waiting for that one to come through. We do it, and we hit it. There it is, Palantir, a nice little run to the upside right there for PLTR. Good trade there. Trying to get, you know, I don't know, I haven't really looked at too much crypto at all today, but Mara and SOS, stuff like that, moving around a little bit as Ethereum trying to get going here. MARA and Q, I believe, over there on the NASDAQ, $30. Highs and lows today for Mara, 28.50 basically. Beautiful low, all the way straight up like $1.50, straight up on a $1.50 right there. So as you notice there, Dogecoin coming to the downside. Cardano still holding up high. Here's ETH right here. So Ether on a 1 minute chart. Trying to go, man, 41.60, but look at, there's that dip. Breaks through, guys, 725, we talked about that. Breaks through that 4,000 and comes right back up. Now tries to retest it, but stopping at about 41. So we're gonna have to watch ETH right now bouncing to the upside. Again, all-time highs just made on this thing. I believe this, was it this morning or where's the chart? There it is right there. Yeah, 41.73 just made there on Ethereum. So watch out here, man. That thing breaks through 42 and you've got a screamer on board as well. We also have a screamer. We're making that money back. We don't have any negative stocks today, forward pending right now, but look at NEO, man. I told you, taking that baby long, and there's an out there for a dime, and now we're in the money on 20 cents on this long. So, sorry, what am I talking about? 15 cents on this long. So we'll take another piece out right now and see if it wants to continue to fly upside, but successful day here today, to say the least. We're ready for Brendan over there at the big screen. He has Neil's favorite stock today.
Yeah, we'll talk about this Alfie, I don't know. ALF, 10.5% still, but well off the highs. If you go back to Friday, or Thursday, I guess it was, there was big time consolidation, top end of the range, which was 620 to 650, that we tested a couple of times here in the, 520 to 550 that we tested a couple of times here in the pre-market. Never got anywhere close to back to that. I kind of chased it a bit when it broke to the downside, but I wanted to show you, zoomed out here so I could show you what I was looking at as far as targets. The top end of this consolidation from Friday was 420, and then 440 just above that, another little area there. Ends up getting through that, that's fine. It's trying to hold 4 right now as support for ALF, but definitely on the weak side. INO, I mentioned quickly right before the open with some positive news, popped up here to 750. If you go to the daily chart, this one's super weak. It's just been grinding to the downside. 710, 720. Was resistance, ends up at 660, so a big move down for INO once again on a Monday. And then this one, Workhorse, a little bit of news came out there with the deal. I showed you the headline there. So 10.15, 10.25, that was the best trade up here, which corresponded with some levels from back on Friday. This flushes all the way to 8.50 for Workhorse, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you, Brennan. Good luck for U.S. Steel, but maybe not so much good luck for that DraftKings. We're right back into that 45 range. Now, the only good news is, as I try to pick up some more shares here in front of 45, is if we've held that even, which would be a higher low. It was a failed break through 45. We got on the north side here when it broke that 45, 25, got 28. It actually gave me that out. So I actually was able to get out here in front of 60, so to take like a 40-cent scalp, or actually 35-cent scalp. And I'm right back in. If it breaks the low of the day, we'll be out of DraftKings. We'll rinse and repeat. If it holds that 45, 50 to 60 level, sort of rinse and repeat, taking some shares out for a quick little scalp on DraftKings. But if it can't go this time, you kind of figure the market's rolling over too hard. U.S. Steel. So we were able to scalp out one time in DraftKings for winner. We got 3 outs already in U.S. Steel. Now we're looking for that 29.50 level. If it breaks this, I'll hold the last for maybe a little bit closer to VWAP. So that trade-off 30 working out, essentially perfectly. It never really tested that high. I was able to get it, best price at that 92. So I checked that 93, and it never even broke that 97. So it never even saw 30 on the offer, and now we're rolling over. Still a very, very strong chart. I'm not even sure it gets all the way to VWAP, but that'll be the last 20% that we try to hold on to for that move. FireEye, we said we we're going to go into that short if it showed any strength. We got that first little push into 38. It actually reversed a few pennies off of that. Now it's testing that 50 level. So if it turns off of 50, I'd like to get some more shares on the way down, not necessarily into that 50, but on the way back to the downside here on FireEye. So we wanted to short any strength that it showed. It's finally done so on volume just after 10 o'clock, and now we're going to look to see if it can't hold that pre-market high in FireEye. And bye-bye DraftKings. I mean, it's now broken the low of the day again. Well, sorry, didn't break the low of the day, broken 45 again. And if it takes the low of the day, I'm gonzo, and as usual, I'll make a scalp trade winner on the long in DraftKings, and on the rest of it, take the hit. It feel like it's the same thing, and if I ever get in once and take the winner, I should just walk away from the stock without getting in again. Same pattern. The difference is, last week, is I tried the long when it made a fresh low. So instead of waiting around and buying it at 42.50, I'm just going to back away from DraftKings and accept the fact that I can't do any better than flat, small wins or small losses. Usually the best result for me. Not going to turn it into a big loss, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, we don't ever want to turn winners into losers, and that's one of our mantras there. But yeah, DraftKings, I hate that stock, and that's why I always stay away from said stock. Okay, this is a good trade here. NEO, we just got it out on that move back to the upside here. I did want to show the reason why I trade. I mean, I have 3 of these things. Here's another one right here. She's doing her work, and then look at this. There's the dog chilling out with her. That's not really the key point here. I don't know if anybody can sort of see what the key point is here. So this is her doing her schoolwork. The Nerf blasting gun is here in case, I'm guessing, in case her big brother comes around. So there it is, the Nerf blaster. What's up to my princess there? More beautiful than ever. So Daddy loves you. And I hope you're watching the show and studying school, because honestly, I think the show's a little more educational than anything you're learning right now. Shots fired at, no, just joking. We love our school and they're doing really well at that. So Daddy loves you. Thank you so much for that picture, my lovely wife. NIO continues to make moves to the upside there. Happy belated Mother's Day to everybody. I think we are unable to celebrate it here in Canada, which is a freaking disgrace. But today we apologize with money. You know, I mean, here we go, guys. This allows you to buy your mother that great little gift that hopefully you were waiting for. NEO, short, long, holding the long now to the upside. Good trade there. Ford blowing up as well. I am at my highest spot we've been at all day, so that's worth one of these, Brendan. A backflip. What you got for us, bud?
Yeah, busy one this morning. Novavax, we mentioned real briefly there in the pre-market as we headed towards the open, guys. It spiked up on volume on a report their dual influenza and COVID-19 vaccine saw some decent data in a recent trial. Right back down on news now that they're not going to even attempt any kind of emergency use authorization with the FDA until June at the earliest, guys.
Right as one of my charts decided to freeze. I'll show you that I just got back into that ALF. I'll show you on the 15-minute chart here. I love when you get something as clean as this. So obviously you just roll over at 5. That's great. We took that breakdown. It bounces off $4. But look at this on Friday. This afternoon cluster at 420, right? So it bounces back in, and then we're able to get a short right off of these same levels. So 23 short off of this 25. almost hopefully rinsing and repeating what you saw go. Did I say Friday? Of course, I mean Thursday. On Thursday, we see happen on Thursday before again flushing down to as low as $3 on Friday. If the same thing happens, I want to scalp some in front of 4. I want to hold through a break at least down to this 360 to 380 range. So back into ALF. Still in that fire. Look, it's kind of frustrating because if you get in on the way up like I did the first time on FireEye, I'll just actually move this to a 3-minute chart manually for you guys so you can see instead of trying to go to the one that crashed. If the first time I got in, it was on the way upside, and then during the rollover, I tried to catch it when it bounced off of or away from 2050. I tried once to get in at 47. It continued to go down. I tried to get in again at 42s. Now you're seeing it slide basically a few pennies in the money, and I haven't added to the position. That's what happens if you try to get in on the way down for the short trade as opposed to just sort of standing there offering 38s on the way up. I didn't mind taking the starter position, but for the rest of it, I usually want to be with the momentum, ensuring that it's at least slowing that move down or at least turning around. If it bounces to the 20s, I'll take a little bit of it out, but I'm trying to stay net short in this FireEye, waited for the strength to be able to get into the short. Now that it's here, I don't want to throw it away too quickly. We're still looking for a sharper retracement on US steel. That has been very, very strong. We've been able to short it successfully off of $30, but it's holding $29.50, at least for the time being. We're about 30 cents in the money. I'm looking for 40 on the next little bit, and then see if we can't get anywhere close to VWAP. So been a good trade in US steel. If you're long, doesn't mean you don't have some short entries, especially at those even dollars.
Yeah, Palantir back to 50s again. So we're looking at this trade out at VWAP right there. And again, guys, thank you for all of the love there on the chat, guys. Like, honestly, and I think that's, what the show needs, right? A little bit of flavor every once in a while. So thank you for that. And yeah, apparently she saw. So now I'm in trouble when the Nerf gun comes back into play in the house. So there it is, guys. I hope you like that little talk. But back to stocks right now. Okay, so Neo, this is why we empty out the chamber on some of these plays, right? Neo, there's another one. You can't hold things forever. Neil talked about that with some of his plays. And here's just another example with NIO, right? Out, and now holding a small piece. You can't just keep trading the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? And so we're going to get out a little bit now on Neo. It's coming back down to this 30 level with all of these wicks on here. I know it looks a little bit silly, but believe me when I tell you, we're going to get out here if it breaks back down below. What is my price there? 25. So I think it may be worth another test at a long against that 35.25 level. Hey man, we're here to make some money. Let's try it on Neo. Maybe this bounce down gives us an opportunity to reload the long. Let's do it right here. What's up, Brad?
That is a lot of dark prints on that chart. PTE, guys, Polarity TE Incorporated, which is one that we've talked about in the past. I think it was back here, went on a bit of a run up to $2. Popping up here, they released some positive data on a diabetic foot ulcer trial that came back in their favor. So next step would be FDA approval for that treatment for them. So a nice look for PTE today. It's 10:30. That means there's 1 hour left in the trading session over in Europe. Miss V is watching what's going on over there. What's up, V?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are mixed at this hour. Bakery and fast food chain Greggs trading in London is up more than 11% as it raised its profit outlook after a strong recovery in sales. Back to you.
Yeah, mixed over in Europe, mixed on this side of the board as well, guys.
Yeah, not too mixed in terms of results, though, for the trading. And this is why we sort of go over this in the morning, a plan of action, not just for the stocks that are moving, but anything that's catching our radar. So whether it's in the watch list or just something that we have that we've been trading a lot of in the last couple of weeks and we're comfortable with, we go over it. Every now and then you have these ones that don't come into play, but you're going to go back over to that FireEye and sort of show you here. I don't believe in chasing too far. So obviously it rolls over that 50 level. There has to be a price that you're unwilling to pay. I think in almost every single trade. So the momentum is coming back down into VWAP. I do take some out at that 20.25, but it is what it is. If I can't get any more shares, I can't get any more. If it's going to go on the money, then this is what we're going to ride with down here. I want to see if we can't bounce. Consolidate around 20 to 2010, and then see if we can't press towards some of those lows. And the impetus for this trade is just look every single week you're hearing another story when it comes to cybersecurity, when it comes to hacking, when it comes to these ransom attacks. And this is what FireEye has been doing. This is a top at 2150, just over and over again inside of the range. It couldn't even break out today when they were the front and center of the latest one. So I was going to short any strength. It just took about a half an hour for any strength to even come to the stock at all. Much to anyone's chagrin, I suppose, but it is what it is. We're here to day trade. ALF starting to do its rollover. Like I said, I'll have some bids out in front of $4. If it consolidates here, I want to make sure I'm rinsing and repeating, taking some of the profitability when the market starts to slow down a bit, especially on these small caps when they start to level off at this particular time of day. Just to go back into the one that got away, that'll be Square. And I say that even though it was a good winner. It's the same thing with BNTX, where it's just out entirely too early. And then even more weakness than I was anticipating. It tries to bounce back up to 225. I'm like, okay, maybe it breaks 225 and you can hunt for a long trade. No. Now it breaks down to 220. I'm thinking a very similar thing down at that 220 range. And then looking at this low from last week at 216.75 or so, and thinking to myself, that's like $3 to $3.50 before the level that you'd really want to defend. Probably a little bit too early to start thinking about that long at 220 in this market on Square. But if it breaks any lower, I'm not going to be able to ignore that 217. If we get anywhere close to that, I'll have to try to take a bottom on that one. Hopefully it works out a little bit better than Coinbase. That's me.
I hope so.
Low.
I mean, yeah.
That's at 260. That's me getting out. That's 259.21 and all the way up to 273. So I don't know. It is what it is. Obviously, it's not a successful trade. The level, the area was okay, but you had to give it a little bit of room through that 260 bottom. It wasn't that way at 250 because it never even touched 250. This time, you had to let it break that 260. And congratulations, anyone that held on. I did not have these with Coinbase today, that's for sure.
Well, it was an 80-cent break, right, on that one? So, yeah, Coinbase, you got to give. I mean, sometimes the spread, as you know, Neil, wow, on Coinbase can be like $1 sometimes. So, you got to have, if you're going to have diamond hands, you got to have a little bit. I mean, maybe even a stop down to 250, something like that. I think you can run $10 on that name, but we'll wait for Coinbase for me. I'm going to probably get some more in after market or after the show into Coinbase at this point. PSFE, yep, that's right. PaySafe, so I believe it's May 11th for PaySafe, so we'll wait to see on that one where this one's gonna go, but I love some PaySafe. I just come over here because we just did talk about a little bit about crypto there, a little bit about Square, PayPal, things like that. I believe PaySafe comes tomorrow. It's its first report. I mean, a lot of people have asked me about it. I'm still long this name right about here from when it was BFT. So you don't have too much of a space there, but this is PaySafe, PSFE, eSignal have turned it over, so the chart looks a little bit better. Here it is right here. So again, it's just been doing absolutely nothing, but FinTech, get up there. FinTech's been doing nothing for a long time, and you can see that. Obviously, the truth is right there as we watch Coinbase. So right here, look at this, 13. We have some bottoms here. I'm excited for PaySafe. No, I can't call anything. I have no idea where it's going to go. I'm hoping we can get to 16, and then at that point, obviously that will trigger us, into some more longs probably as we're breaking above that. But let's just check. Hold out hope here that PaySafe into a bad market can have a decent print, because if this is a bad print, man, I don't want to see. I mean, this thing could go to single digits, in which case we're loading up. So I'm with you on that one, Kathy Wood. If our stocks do worse, we want to load up more of them. But let's wait on PaySafe for tomorrow. I believe it's either tomorrow. I don't know if it's before or after market, but we'll watch PSFE tomorrow, Mr. Wickens.
A little bit of deal making on a Monday to tell you about. Soliton, Soliton Incorporated, being picked up by AbbVie and Allergen here for $550 million, $22.60 in share. That's solely, we have looked at this before, SOLY on the show today, but or not today, but in the past we've traded this. But $22.60 is up here where it was in the pre-market, but solely being bought, guys.
And he's the GOAT because he gives you all the news for sure, spinning around there. And some of the money is spinning around to the short side. I mean, it was that U.S. Steel. Every now and then you go against the grain and it's going to be able to work out for you. There's been a couple of good retracements on the stock. First at $29.50, but it had to break. This time at 30, and it did not have to break. It just touched VWAP. I was already out here at $29.35, so we'll take the last out for a nice little scalp trade of about 60 pennies or so. And again, this had a lot to do with the $30 even. even more so to do with the crazy run that U.S. Steel has been on. And, profit taking is going to be a thing, especially in a market like this, where I think people are looking for deals, I think, in the tech space, especially on the retail side, where the hedge funds are selling, and it seems like retail has been buying some of the tech dips. Someone asked about Tesla. I have not looked at Tesla almost at all today, but thank you for the daily chart not really trying to load. But I look at this 645. It's kind of a double bottom. It's not a level I've loved in the past, which is why I think you want to look at least a little further back. There we go. So you can sort of see last week. I mean, I think 643 is going to be this bottom here. I think you at least have to let it test down to that price before I really love it. You're kind of stuck in a bit of a no man's land with that 650 here if you try that long, and then that 643 at that little bit of a bottom. But under a tremendous amount of pressure, of course, all of the ARK names. This is no different at this point. I mean, Tesla has been following the winds of the ARK train for a little bit here, and it's hard for me to look at a level and then try to fight it. I have to have a lot of conviction, and we try to trade Tesla not every single day, but maybe like once a week there'll be something there. I'd have to see it maybe even break that 643, maybe get back above that 650 before I'm too bullish and trying to pick along on Tesla. I know that might not be the answer people want to hear, but with the way the market's trading today, I don't think rushing into a day trade long makes any sense to me. Have a bit of a nuanced look where you have a level you're confident in, and then that way you're not getting wicked out like I did in Coinbase. You're actually capitalizing on a win if it's there.
Yep. More yeps. Okay, Ford still trying to go as well. We'll wait to see on Ford. How far does Ford want to go? Nobody knows. My guess is as good as yours. We will wait to see what Ford goes here right now, as well as Ether trying to crash a little bit here as we're watching it. We're trading this ETHE a little bit. This is Ethereum with a move. Oh, sorry, that's Bitcoin with a move right there. But Ether, where is my Ether chart? There it is, 4,080 right now. So this is a 4-hour. You go to a 1 minute. We are crashing back down just a little bit here. Where is it? There it is. Down to 4,000 again. So I'm just keeping my eye on this. I definitely want to watch to see if we do break through 4,000 on ETH. And again, I think Bitcoin, this has all had its run, man. I mean, people could say whatever they want about what happened on Saturday Night Live. Nothing really happened on Saturday Night Live other than a good performance there. But, crypto does go back and forth. If you can't withstand like a 2% move, then see ya. Don't look here, because that is what it's all about. I can't believe, and we'll talk about this when we get back, like Beyond Meat down 6%, Square down 6%, Palantir always down 6%, Neo down 4%, Snapchat down 7% as we look here. Like, what the heck is Twitter down? Facebook down 4%. Some of the weed names down. I'm just looking here at my list. This is a little shopping list that I have, and I just sort it by names. FSR, forget about it. I've already displaced that stock. That stock's going to be gone for a while. Anything EV names, guys, look elsewhere right now. DraftKings, Snap, Beyond Meat, Square is on here. BlackBerry,
Uber's
Under
down.
Armour from before. Yeah, I don't have Lulu, but yeah, Lulu probably.
Uber.
Uber, sorry, Uber, yeah. Everything down, man. Amazon, Google. I just want to bring this to your attention, then I sort it the other way to see what's up. Like Turn is, wow, that's a good, I bought this Turn, guys, at like $1.50. You can look at that one. Peloton up, but everything else, man. Hey, Valeria, Starbucks, good little look there. Go over to Brendan, but that was a bad board.
Yeah, let's have a look at, I'll show you the same thing, just a different visual here, but this is going to be all the tech stocks leading the way so far for the overall market. We are negative, but for the S&P anyways, only 0.14%. So all of what you just saw that Sean was talking about right here in negative territory. There are a few outliers in the software group that are trying to offset, but semiconductors, the entire thing in the red. Hardware equipment makers getting hit again today as well. MSI standing out there as the only one to the upside. There's Apple, Western Digital, IPGP as well. I mean, everything pretty weak coming from the tech sector. Just below that, we saw DraftKings on that list as well to the downside. Here's Penn, 3.5%. MGM right below it there also. Look at Tesla, big move down today for Tesla as well. Following, has nothing to do with Saturday Night Live, but following that appearance, Amazon I wanted to mention as well. Amazon down 1.8% today. UA, you can have a look. Tapestry there, some of the Some of the clothing makers and some of the apparel makers in negative territory. As far as strength, there are some buyers in the banking sector today. This group standing out as strong, pretty much everything in positive territory. Some of the industrials standing out as strong as well. Where was the transportation? Here we go. Airlines, wanted to mention, I saw some of the airlines are positive, but not big moves. Only 0.5% to 1% only for some of the airlines, but they are in positive territory. Healthcare stocks are weak. Utilities providing some lift, but not a lot. Materials, same story, providing some lift, but not a lot. Energy stocks trying to go positive, but again, not huge moves. Only 0.17%, but we are in negative territory. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, just we're going to be hopefully produced in a publication soon. We'll have some more on that in a minute when that comes through, guys. We'll talk about that. Okay, yeah, we just took some out of Ford right there. 1181s, good trade on Ford. We're long 73s, so you guys hopefully can see some of that trade happening here live on the screen. You've been watching me trade Ford all day for sure. Palantir, this is why we hit this and quit this. In and out there on PLTR upside. Now I'm just waiting. It did base out here at 1840, so maybe something there on PLTR as we'll watch it. Hopefully be able to get some back in, on Palantir as it looks to go to the upside right now, breaking through that 1860. I like this little level right there on PLTR. So we are watching that eagerly to see if there's any movement on that name. And then Neo and Square down to 220. Yuck, that might be a good buying opportunity. I know some of you guys also like that watch list. What? Now you need that watch list, a sticky note, everything, guys. We'll do our best to give you what you want. And if that includes some of the stocks that are on my watch list, giddy up, I'll give those to you guys.
I'm going to give you another bearish look here. And of course, it's going to stay on FireEye. Now, again, maybe there were some, and I'll have to look back to see if there were any long opportunities in the space. But I was looking to fade. Another push downside, not actually breaking VWAP here, but down towards 2016. I only got that first entry at 38. I did want some more. I'm actually going to sit around here in the 40s just in case it wants to show a little more strength here off of this 2050 area. We can always just get out if 2050 breaks, look for another trade here in FireEye. But one of the things we talked about this morning when we were doing our preparation with Mark Roberts was how these stocks are doing nothing despite the news. And if that's going to be the case, if you have positive catalyst after positive catalyst over that you would think for the entire space and it's doing nothing, that usually means you want to short some strength. And whether that's in FireEye or whether it's in, sort of pick any one of those names, or if it's going to be over in the EV space, or if it's going to be over in like when Palantir gets another contract and it doesn't go up, well, sometimes you have to play the downside. I tried that in Nikola. You know how that works out from time to time. My favorite stock today is going to be ALF, not just because I like saying it, but because it's been almost no trouble is what I want to give it here. Now, if you do look, it's only traded a couple of sessions, so it doesn't have a ton of price action. If you do look at the bottom end of this range, I'm still looking for this 4 to break and hold below. But until then, I'll keep rinsing and repeating 25s into $4 for like 20-cent scalps over and over again. I'm not sure it has another drop from 490 and crater another $1 until maybe the afternoon trade. So that's one of those things where there's money to be made in some of these, but the bigger move could happen on ALF like at 2, 3 o'clock. Certainly that power hour. I anticipate I'll be trading this name when we come back at 3:15 for the end of the show. You have to be able to switch gears. You see us do it from giving you guys a preparation, giving you guys the levels, getting those crazy morning trades, to sliding in, doing range-bound trading, doing some bottom picking at this time, and then all hell breaks loose at 3:15, where it feels like there's so much happening we can barely even keep it together, telling you guys everything that's going on at 3:15. But we try to have those winners anyways.
Yep, have all of the winners and hopefully none of the losers, but that's kind of hard sometimes to do that. We often can go pretty big percentages on the win side. We're doing it again today, especially. We don't have any losers on board. I mean, it depends on where you have this Ford. This one will be a loser for me, so it is going to be a losing trade, but it's hard to say that when you're long at 1173 here and it's at 1181. Unfortunately, we did take their average in, got some out there, just on the way up. Again, I was just worried that this would happen today, and it has happened today. So we talked about that. Remember, if you guys joined me at 8:30. I talked about it when the NASDAQ was down 0.3. I said, this smells like there's a lot of trouble today. And now you're down extraordinarily more from that spot. And we're at the highest spot we've been at all day today. So good trading so far, that's for sure. We'll just have to find some more stock to look at.
I'll give you one that I'm looking at now,
let's
because
do it.
Morgan Stanley just went negative on the session. So you're now seeing the banks fall. And the last time we were in this situation where like the NASDAQ was heading downside, and I looked overall and the banks were basically flat, the bottom pick was the way to go. Yeah, of course, my 15-minute does not want to load there. I mean, you can see the daily chart is going to show you how ridiculously strong. You can pick any of your bank names. It really doesn't even matter. If we can sniff that previous like 86.75 high, maybe that 87 range, I'm gonna like it. I got this 87.25 as the current bottom. It's still trending down, so I kind of want this to sell off maybe a little bit more into that 87 range or that 86.75. And once it levels off, I want to go long in this particular bank. I mean, you can sort of pick whichever one you want to day trade, and I happen to always gravitate towards Morgan Stanley. Barendo's got some news for us.
All right, we were talking about a number of earnings names coming up this week. Another one that I'm not sure if we mentioned this. I apologize if we do, but RBLX, guys, 3%. We're at day lows. We're coming into big support levels here for Roblox. They report after market tonight for Roblox.
Yeah, I like Roblox. I mean, I think there's a good potential there for that platform and that gaming system. So I like Roblox. But again, it's always hard to do anything off their first report. So you'll wait to see what Roblox is going to do. They're gonna crush the numbers. It's just a matter of the guidance, in my opinion, because now with more kids back to school, the reopened trade, you know, how will that affect Roblox? That for me is something that we're definitely looking at for that. And again, if you saw me earlier, we led the show off with a big cap tech, right? I talked about Microsoft defending that 249.50. That's exactly what it does. So now we're going to take a long again here, 250 and change. We do have backside down to this 249.40 area. I think we average in all the way down to there. So I do like this spot here for us today. Microsoft, let's see. Even though the NASDAQ's coming down, I still feel sick to myself for missing this trade. Like, you know, this 313 was the only, like, you want to have this. You guys like my watch list, but look at this one. There's Facebook. Look at it, 313, guys. Looking at that short, we missed it. Again, trading other things off the open. That was a shame to miss there. So let's look to see now Facebook coming right back into these levels, man. We talked about it being the strongest name into a weak tech. So, darn it, we missed that opportunity today, down 4% here. Wow, just nasty. Microsoft, though, a nice little bump back. So we'll see here. We're long at 25. We're going to take more and more into this 49.50 area. Let's see if we get back up. I mean, this is 50.82 there. Even if we get to VWAP is 75 would be a decent win for us as well. So we'll just keep averaging here on Microsoft. And because we have a decent position, we can take some out as well. So good move. Upside right now, 10 cents in the money for Softy, but obviously we're looking for a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'm going to look to start that position. We got a bit of a bounce on that Morgan Stanley. So it did break briefly 87.25. Tried to hunt higher. Now you're getting a little bit of a pullback. If it's going to consolidate off of this low, I don't want to miss the party altogether. So I'll get a quick third in at 87.30 off the current low of the day. Wanted to be involved in the banks. And I talked a little bit. You guys were asking about Tesla, and I just said, look, I can't really find anything. Look, if this was real, like this, like, you know, just these levels that are sitting here, like, these are all dark pool prints holding it up. So skews that chart. I know it to be true. So just be careful here. It would be an obvious break at 650 if that was actually real to the upside. Another one which is pulling back. So I see nothing in Tesla. If we break that low of the day, I'd look back to see if it can make a 640 bottom, but I'm not going to hunt too far. If I'm playing against the grain and something is going to be strong, usually I'm going to take that VWAP retracement. US Steel goes all the way through, even breaks, at least temporarily, this higher low that it put in at 28.87. This was also at 9:30 the top end of the move to the upside initially, which was like 28.90. So I like when I see a level like this. Now the question is, can it even hold this range? If it does, this could be one of those like false breakdowns. You can pick this up for value. Otherwise, I'll back off until we're looking at 28 even on a retrace in US Steel. So I got into the long in Morgan Stanley. I'm holding FireEye and ALF to the south side. I mean, FireEye I have it out at 2050, but I want to be net short those all day if I can. We're going to go to Money Talks, and I'm going to look for an entry into US Steel again.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's have a quick look at how things are shaping up for a Monday. We mentioned cryptos at the bottom here. Ethereum, yeah, still holding 4,000 up big time on the day. Everything else not really doing a heck of a lot. Ripple, Bitcoin, both negative. I want to mention the British pound here, 1.41 this morning, back above 140 for the pound. You can see on the chart on that side a full 1.2% on the day. Results from the Scottish election over the weekend came in favor. That's going to support some of the movements in the pound today. There was also, more news in the UK about things reopening, getting back to normal. So positivity around the British pound, a full 1.2% to the upside. Look at the Canadian dollar, 82.7 this morning, up another 0.4 for the CAD. The euro not really doing a heck of a lot. Japanese yen, Swiss franc not really doing a heck of a lot. Both Australia and New Zealand in positive territory. Same story for the Turkish lira, but guys, the pound making big moves. Back over to you.
The pound making movements. Well, hopefully all I care about for the time being for the long side is Morgan and U.S. Steel. Got into both of them here. So if we break 87.50, now I have 30s to the long side. Once we get that break, I think a lot of people would look at this, that sort of round number. You get a breakout through there. They're waiting for that sort of quarter move off the bottom and then work it into VWAP. So hopefully that momentum breaking 87.50, whether it's people buying long on a break, whatever you want to call it, into that 60 mark is going to get me that first leg of profit on Morgan Stanley. A lot of times, I like the notion of other people's stops or other people's entries getting you some of your profitability because there'll be liquidity there. So if we bounce off that to 87.50, we need to hold that low. Otherwise, I want some out in front. U.S. Steel, like I said, just got into it. We're looking for a long. We went to Brennan. We found one. When it came back, we bounced and we actually hold that level. We hold this 28.75, at least temporarily. We were able to bounce into like 29 even. Maybe I looked a gift horse in the mouth because I was about 15, 20 cents in the money temporarily on U.S. Steel. I'm looking for closer to VWAP on this trade. So if it gets into that 29.15 to 29.20 area, I'll try to take like a 30-cent winner or 25 to 30-cent winner on U.S. Steel and then see if it has a second leg to it. The problem with all of this is this is the NASDAQ right now. Now, it shouldn't matter too much in U.S. Steel, but go back into last week and this level that's breaking 13.5, not a good look. The ES, on the other hand, coming into it, you'd like to think, I'm not Arun here, but this 42.10, which would have been tops a couple of weeks ago, if we do break that one, which is about 5 handles away, I don't think even my U.S. Steel long is going to be looking too pretty if we hit that level. Miss V at the big screen.
Hey Neil, biotechnology company Polarity Tie is very popular on the chat right now. PTE is up around 30%. Could you guys give us a review on PTE?
Well, I don't know, but I'll certainly call it up. I just added that one to my board. And look, 75, the first thing I'm going to notice on a dollar stock is how big is the volume. 75 million, it's only about $1.30. You're going to see a relatively tight range of like a 116 to a 138. Okay, well, that's actually a little bit wider than I would have expected here when I looked at the level 2. But you need to be trending towards at least 150 to 200 million shares for these to be good at this particular time of day. So yes, is it getting towards like a daily chart level, like a 145, 150? If it presses any higher, that'd be a 100% reversing into. Yeah, it's getting close. It's not quite there yet. I'd probably at least give it a shot at this level here, that 138, given the time of day. But if this breaks, it's like a no-fly zone for me till about 150. I don't know if I absolutely love it. We're not necessarily screaming into this. I like to see, if I'm going to short something going into that high, I kind of want it to be like breaking a few backs into that so that it stops some people out shy. I'm not sure that's even happened on this stock. So maybe if you get like a 36 or 37 in front of the current high of the day, that could be a short. The volume is actually pretty good. If I can see, can you guys see the volume? Here we go. The volume has been pretty good going in towards this high, so there's some volume behind this buying. That's another reason why the bulls are still winning on this particular one. If we get below 115, and I kind of look at this here, you look at the pre-market, you look at since the open, it breaks that. If you're long and strong at $1, I mean, you can bank some of that profit if it breaks that level and hold the rest for a home run trade. That's not a horrible idea because that 115 breakdown, that would be a short for me. I don't know if that's a power hour thing or it happens during lunch, but I look at that 115 and say I'd much rather be shorting that or up at 150 if it could get there.
Yeah, Ether still trying to break that 4,000. Okay, so good little trade there for Microsoft. So we'll do a little bit of a backflip, but we're averaged in again. So let's wait to see where it goes. Okay, I didn't even notice this move back up on Microsoft. So that's a good trade so far. We're long right here at 19. So not fantastic, but we did take a dime. No, sorry, 15 cents on the first piece, out 45s there off of some 30 love and some 18. So actually it was better than that. It was about a 20-cent win there. Now we take that piece and we're average long at 19s right now on softies. So that's our long. We'll wait to see where it goes. And again, the reason, this chart sucks. The reason why is we did have a downward move here of 249.50. I want to play into that. So again, you know, if the NASDAQ wants to keep falling, we'll lose. There's no doubt about that one. But, you know, on a playback, I think this is worth it. I will take another piece off because we did average in. If we can get another 15 cents on this, we'll do that. So right now we're long 19s. We have an offer. Where's my offer? It should be right around there. There it is. Out at 30. So there it is again, guys. So spinning it today again, like everything we're touching so far, so good here today. Just have to wait on it. Ford, we've been taking pieces out. I mean, you look where we're long 73s. Now it goes to the upside. Again, average in. Now some upside moves to Ford. So we're keeping it light today, man. Microsoft, NEO, with some nice wins today as well. You've already talked about that. Palantir, we only made one buy. We should have bought more down here. Now we've seen it. Now it's shown us its hand temporarily here on Palantir, where you do have this 1840 bottom. So possible bottom there on PLTR. We'll wait to see if it comes back there. We will try it one more time. And then, you know, I do want to average more into Microsoft. That was, you know, that was a big play for me. Disney, Roblox I wanted to look at as well at some point. That PTE, thanks to Brendan for the news on that one as well. I believe it's, NASDAQ stock there. Positive, obviously, jumps after initial diabetic and ulcer studies. So PTQ, PTE today, upside. You see on the daily chart, we've already been up here before. So again, you know, trials, things like that, that's going to cause these names to bump upside. So watch out for this break. I mean, 145. What is the high today? 138. So that's good. Or even just the 150, right? The psychological level of 150 there. So PT, a good look. And we're just Microsoft 10 cents in the money and 4 tenths in the money. We wait for everything else.
That's what it's all about. I mean, at this time of day, hopefully when things slow down, you're just sort of sitting in the money positions. If things are rolling against you too far, think about lightening the load a little bit. The last time we had a day like this, I talked about getting the banks and missed out on a bottom in Morgan Stanley. Today, we're able to capture it. I've already scalped some out. I said if it got back to this like 87.60, I'd get some out here. Then look into VWAP. So we get that 30 pennies. We'll look to get about 60 or 70 if it goes any higher. U.S. Steel broke towards VWAP. I was able to get some out of 20s for a 30-cent win there. So a couple of solid bottom picks. And I was short U.S. Steel before. But the long came in, and you got to play the price action when you're trading at this particular time of day. Don't fight the trend too hard. Brendo?
Just checking on Marine Max here. We'll see when earnings are. Not for a while. Looks like they just reported. Yeah, it was the beginning of the month. Marine Max, HZO, just popping up here. There's multiple different analyst moves on this one. It's a little bit thin, heads up on that, but this is a pretty impressive move on the daily chart for HZO, up 6% again today. This is all-time highs for Marine Max, a boat and yacht retailer. You know, you can't even put a boat in the water here yet in Ontario. Marine Max, guys.
Yeah, no, we're just putting people with concrete boots in the water. So, okay, Microsoft here, 250. Just looking at that, we're trying to get some out here at 250.25. We'll see if that can come through or not. I like it. Well, wait, Microsoft holding up. It's surprising that the NASDAQ is moving all the way down and Microsoft holding up. So to me, that's a big one. There's another piece out on Softy. So far, man, it's been a good one. Like, this doesn't look super great, but we're just continuing our scalp mode, and that's what I do. So hopefully you guys are able to do some of that as well. Microsoft now goes. Let's go. We're long at 14 now, 25 cents in the money. It's still going upside, so good out for Microsoft. We do have, I don't have any sells. Actually, I do have one at 40 there. Oh my God, just got to 38 and missed us. So let's switch that up. Let's put a 38 offer there. We were waiting at 40 there to capture a big win, but we missed that one. So now we'll wait for the upside, 38s, 40s. Here comes Softy right back up. I think it'll be a mistake not to take a piece out there, but we want to cancel our 40s. And there it is. Nice out on Softy. Another 20 cents. So, yep. It's flying around here today. We're going to go perfect today, guys, on another big day. Hopefully you enjoy everything that we're doing here on tradertv.live.
Exactly, and it's about getting the winning trades. It's about making sure you're profitable, but it's also about that thought process. So you make sure you tune in from the absolute beginning. So we go over some of these levels. We go over the stocks that we're looking at that are going to be hot. Alpha was obviously one of those. I want to walk you through how you're able to get this. It'll seem like a perfect fill at 425. But for anyone that wasn't paying attention a little bit earlier, go back to the higher time frame. When the stock has already made a monster move to the downside, which it had in the morning, you go back to the 6, you look at this 425 in the afternoon. If it bounces off 4, that's an obvious target where I want to get in. There was just an iceberg on that 4 even. I actually got some shares out when it just kept refreshing over and over again. I took some shares out here, and I'm looking to see if it can't get to the low of the day. It's closed at 370. If we can break through 4 here, then that 425 can have a shot to get us to 375, and you can get another 50-cent type move on ALF. I mentioned US Steel giving me that first target to the outside. At VWAP here, we're looking for this retracement price. At about 10 o'clock, it pulled back into 28.90. Off the open, it pushed into that 28.90. So once it gets into that range on the downside, can it bounce off the quarter? Sure it does. And then I'm getting long at what price? 28.90, 28.91 on the way back to the upside there. So it's nothing necessarily random. It's just looking at some of these levels, gives you some more juice to the anticipation of a bounce. It's been a strong stock. I'm looking to go long after that great short. Now, if we continue through, am I holding it to the high of the day? No, I'm not holding it till 30. I'll probably look at this cluster here and say 29.50s, get out in front of it, take your 40 to 50 cent win, and then walk away, look for that next little trade there, guys. Obviously, you can't win on all of them. That's going to be true when it comes to Coinbase, at least for me. Looks like it's rounding off a little bit. It got to like 274, 275, and now is trying to pull back and possibly break down. If it retests 260, and if it can't hold that price, maybe we're looking at another 250 defense. If it does break down, though, I'm looking to see if in the afternoon or during lunchtime, if we can get like a 260 trade one more time through. Hopefully, I'll do better than I did the first, when I didn't give it enough room. Now, I should have been willing to risk a little bit more than I was on Coinbase. Part of the problem was a 261.12 long in front of a 260 level. In that particular case, if I want to give it that extra 70 or 80 cents required, now you're losing $2 plus slippage. If you go long at 260 and a quarter, 260 a little bit tighter that even, easier to hold through and still only risk a buck. So the entry point, probably the issue with that Coinbase trade at 260, should have waited to get a better price. Then you can hold through the even break or the failed break and capture some of that $12 win.
Yeah, someone asking me about that 313 break there on there. So someone, just right here on Twitter talking about that 313 downside. Yeah, Tony. Missed it, but we did call that one out. So I don't like when that happens. That's for sure. We should be having, I just feel like I should, win all the time, but maybe that's a little bit crazy. Okay, 2509 right there. Last 25 days, 23-2. Record, not bad. I feel like the Dodgers. Okay, what is this in here? 2509 right now. I mean, again, just scalped out on Microsoft. We're going to give this one a little bit lower here. NASDAQ really struggling. I'm not going to average into this, man. Out. Each one of these is about 15 to 20 cents. So good wins there on Softy, and we'll hold right here. Ford. I'd still love for it to get to this 85. It's amazing that we're still hanging out upside. That would be really nice if that could come through. Our DraftKings, what a good call that was. I think maybe it's time now to get long. We talked about that on our board again. And if you want to, get part of it, the sticky notes there, I'll actually tweet that out again. I'll put it on the chat for you guys in a second. But DraftKings, I said long, short into 45. Long at 45. So it doesn't, if you're long 45, there's really not too much of a problem. It only goes down, I guess, against you 50 cents. But we do have this level here, 45.62 maybe, liking that long. So again, I talk about this all the time. I'd rather be long once we go up than long into a fall. So right now, I think that's what we're going to try to do right now. On the way back up, we did the same thing for Palantir and crushed it. So right now, we're going to try it again here on DraftKings. We're going to try to go long 45.62-ish. Unlike Softy, see, we just picked some up. Softy down there, 94s. Look where this thing pops to. So again, if we ever pick up a 94 and we get an opportunity to get out, maybe we should do some of that. But this is different, right? We're not catching a falling sword. This is not a falling sword. What we're trying to do is catch good prices into this level, right? So Microsoft, a good trade there. It goes right upside in the money, but DraftKings, that last one. There we go. Do we just get that out? Where's my 12? Give me my 12. Bang! There it is again. Spin it again, guys. Like, we are at our highest spot by far today as the money just keeps on coming through. Now this is a 30-cent win for me on Softy, guys. No losers today. It's good. It's good today, but we're still with 20 minutes left. Anything could happen, guys.
Absolutely. I just pulled score up here, and hopefully instantly, maybe it's a hint that I shouldn't trade it because my chart wanted to crash on me, but we did talk about the square bottom. It was a short off the open, to be sure, and I did mention, this level here in the daily, like that. If you get down to like 210s, that's all obviously crazy, but if you get down to this 217 area, I'm going to start thinking about mounting a little bit of a defense. If we can hold up, we're about $2 away from this now, so Square continues to fall. It was that 231 break. We talked about this in the pre-market that if you cannot rally off of the earnings that Square had and then had all kinds of trouble breaking that previous like 240 resistance, you can see like 1, 2, 3 times to try to get through. You consolidate lower, show absolutely no signs of bouncing in the pre-market. Yes, I'm going to take a momentum short. It's a lack of momentum buying on what was a fantastic report. And now I'm looking at 217, saying to myself, I have to be involved if it gets down there. We just got out of U.S. Steel. So I just walked you through the entirety of, we talked about the 30 trade short is a heck of a lot easier because, it's that 30 even dollar range. It's like a $2 move to the upside already. Yeah, it's screaming into lunchtime or, just after 10 o'clock into lunchtime, and you want to short that top. We've seen that set up a million times. Taking the long off this little bottom is a little bit different. That's why I walked you through like the area of entry that you're going to want to see hold. So I'm out in front of VWAP, where my ultimate out is going to be. And at this point, you kind of look at this range, 2880, up to this like 2950 where we just got out in front for like the 50-cent winner. And you can guess. It's like, is it going to break to the upside and we continue to go long, press towards 30? Or is this going to be the lower high? It's going to continue down. I'd rather not make that guess. I've already won on the short. I've already won on the long. If it comes back downside, I can go ahead and cancel that bid, walk away until it breaks out of the range, and then I can analyze that after it moves. Not sitting here guessing after you have a couple of wins saying, what's going to happen next time? You're not forced to trade it. Instead, you can get some fresh news from Brendan.
Just looking at a couple of things, actually. Chemocentrics, first off, there's a cancer stock, CCXI, that popped up last week on a big move down. Just back to $10 here. This thing was $50 last week. Just checking on that, first off. So moving back to the upside on volume. A lot of people talking about, or a few people anyways, talking about this one, MoneyGram. JP Morgan with an upgrade on MoneyGram today. So MGI, moving as well.
We got that MoneyGram last week from you as well. That reminds me of my new favorite stock, which may not be tomorrow, PaySafe, coming through there. We'll watch that for tomorrow. Again, big earnings coming May 11th. I just got to check if it's before or after market. Valeria obviously has a lot on the board coming up. Roblox this week, Disney this week, Palantir tomorrow morning. So we're going to wait for that one as well. That should be an interesting slippery slope for sure. PLTR. And again, today, man, it's just, this is giving me a little bit of hope on Palantir. The market, I've already showed you that board of mine. A lot of these names just getting destroyed today, right? So no surprise there that Palantir does make that move to the downside. I think it's worth picking some up if you're not in it. But I mean, look at this move to the downside here. Everybody talking Palantir. Like there's a lot of action on Palantir, a lot of talk on it. So we'll wait to see. I don't know what the shortable percentage is now. I mean, I think if anybody's short, they're probably cashing out. I don't see a short squeeze, unless somehow these numbers. Remember, Palantir is an actual company, right? This isn't like something that's just made out of thin air. They're 19 years in business, right? Even though they just did have that direct listing. Remember, when you have a direct listing, you do get a lot of names coming out of the market because of a lot of shares coming out because you do have current shareholders being able to sell their shares back in, right? They've been holding it forever. They sell it in to make some sort of a profit. So, I mean, that's happened a long time ago. We'll wait to see if Palantir can't catch its wings, but down to 15 tomorrow really wouldn't surprise me into this area. And then we can start getting a little more aggressive. But like I said, if you're in this name now, you can get aggressive as well. Ford right back to the high of the day again. So yes, sir, that one has been slayed. And then Microsoft so far today as well. That one been slayed, as well as everything going to the upside right now, including these two names that we have on board. The only stocks we have right now, Microsoft and Ford, so looking good on that side. Rocket makes a brand new 52-week low off that miss last week as well. They missed by 1 penny and they lose billions in market share. So again, I'm not reloading anything. Here's the 1 day on Rocket. Like, hello, you want to talk about breaking a level there, that 2150, just straight to the downside. Now, there's that low right there, making a brand new low off of IPO time. So yeah, Rocket at 1750, probably worth loading up, but
oh my goodness.
I don't know, man. Wall Street doesn't like it. I may rotate out of some of my JPM. I mean, we're in the money monstrous on JPM, long 80-something dollars, $90 on this name. So that's a good one. And that's only been just over less than a year since we've been buying this. So I think the rotation may be in. We'll have to wait on it, though. Microsoft, 50 cents in the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to sell any of the banks. It's been such a, it's a nice little run for all of them. Obviously, I'm still day trading them heavily, but let's remember, like FireEye only had one plan of action, and it's all well and good to say, okay, this stock doesn't move when there's a positive or I want to say like potential positive catalyst, because it's not even as if the news today is necessarily going to move the stock, but they are involved, of course, in this ransomware attack and addressing it. I wanted to sell into it because of the lack of movement recently in the stock, but you have to have a bit of an out. I have noticed that it's bounced off VWAP, and I do want to play off this 2050 level if I can just one more time. So I am going to get out if it breaks 2050. I'll probably still try another short. If it just presses too far, I'll probably try at least some kind of other short up around 21s. But it's getting to the point where this is not breaking down. It holds VWAP. The momentum is not there. The volume is not crazy. So it's a decent scalp once. Maybe it'll be a decent scalp trade a second time through. But you can have all the conviction in the world. The stock doesn't want to go, and you can only take small wins. Sometimes you have to walk away in front of the moving freight train, even if it's like a very, very slowly moving, like Thomas, like a Thomas the Train. I guess it's a better analogy for Thomas the Train. I don't know, because it's such a weak name. And we talk about this all the time. But if I see a stock doing this, inside the range, can't do anything, it's almost always going to be a fade, especially if the volume is weak. If we test 2160, I'd probably put 2 or 3 times as many shares on. It never went there. We had to take the short that we could. Morgan Stanley, this market does not seem to want to have a big enough bounce in it. If my chart will load up, let's go. Morgan Stanley, on the other hand, looks like it's going to give you that push. The last time this trade happened for me, where the market was basically down all day long, and then the banks made a bit of a turn, I saw it come all the way towards those highs and had absolutely nothing on board. I want to hold through VWAP. I want to see if we can't get at least $1 on this trade. It's more about learning from the last time I had this type of a setup and then not missing out. So if I'm looking at the gift horse in the mouth and trying to hold for too big of a move being greedy, it's only because of the last time I saw this move and not wanting to leave too much on the table. So Morgan was my pick because that's the bank that I feel like I've traded a little bit better. You could probably look at any of them and it's almost the same setup here, potentially breaking out through this 87.75. I want to hold it for at least $1 if I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, Morgan Stanley's a good talk there. We are 50 cents. We just went 50 cents in the money there on Microsoft. So that's turning out, I mean, right now we're 40 cents in the money. So this is turning out pretty good. And 11 cents in the money on Ford. And then everything else we wait for, especially for Brendan. What's up, bud?
Another one from the retail group just popping up here. Revolve RVLV was down significantly, 6% plus still, but just coming in with some volume here. Back to the upside for Revolve Group, guys.
Okay, Revolve, yeah, we'll look at all of these names. There was another one that I had on my mind. PRPO maybe, making some moves as well today, up that 25%, 470 touching off right now. PRPO, yeah, there's the move. It did halt right there at 450 back. So we're looking at that level right now at a that halt level, I guess, is 440 something. But we're looking at that rate. I think that's, that must have been a halt. Right there, 450 to the downside right now on PRPO. So if you have some shortable shares there, that one's halted up big today. PRPO. Ford still back to its highs. We talked about Snapchat losing some steam as well earlier today, down that 7%. You may be able to pick some of this up as well. I'm super excited though. I mean, we talked about it, man. Palantir coming up as well as PaySafe. PaySafe's tomorrow morning. So we just got that confirmed from Valeria. Thank you so much for that one as well. PaySafe confirmed, and Brendan confirmed on that one. But this is Snapchat, like just continuing to make moves to the downside. We're going to load up the daily chart to see if there's there's any levels. Looking at 50 here, so that's why we want to see. Yeah, I mean, very, very similar to pretty much any high value and price-wise, but tech name here that's coming to the downside. Snapchat with not a horrible quarter, I didn't think, but we are coming back down, man. A lot of these names need to get flushed. So we're long the best, Microsoft and Ford, I feel like. But right now, Snapchat coming to that 50 level. Let's wait to see what happens. Even 59.50 maybe. I'm going to do a little more work on it, and then we'll come back. But what's up, Brendan?
For what it's worth, on that one I just mentioned there, RVLV, guys, there we go. Citron, guys, liking RVLV. Crushed earnings, according to Citron. So that's the pop, guys.
So this is happening a little faster than anticipated in Square, but there goes 218. Now 217 half. It talked about this. It's actually 216, like 67 or so. So we're about $1 away from that bottom. I like it. We're waiting for it. But I'm going to start this position about like 50 to 75 cents away from that low. So if we get to like that low to mid 217 range, I'm going to jump into the long in Square. And obviously, it's going to be one of those situations where the short off the open, if you just hold on to it, it's going to be fantastic. I was really thinking when he got to that first, and I go back, and this is going to be like the sixth here, and I reference the sixth like a couple of times at start this week. When you got into this top here, which is like 227, that could turn into a bit of a support. Even weaker than anticipated, which it is what it is. You get the rotation out of some of these tech names, and you get these ridiculous moves to the downside, which seem oversold. That tends to be my thought. I'm going to try and pick it up in front of that low on the same sixth. We'll see if that can hold. It is what it is. We'll try it on Square. Some of the bottom picks have been good. Obviously, that's been solid. One on the move back in U.S. Steel, Morgan Stanley. It's a different beast in tech, however. I kind of feel like picking up the low on a bank. A lot easier to do on these recent days. On some of these tech names, Sean, it has been a little bit more precarious. That's why we waited for a really, really good price, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, you could just start buying now in some of these, I think, but we'll wait on it. Someone said there, Nello. What's up, Nello? Yeah, I think, yeah, right there. You can see on the chat, I just answered you. Yeah, I mean, again, this is just a name, right? BTCC is just crypto. So if you like Bitcoin, not crypto, it's Bitcoin. So if you like Bitcoin at these levels, then, I mean, I would say go for it. I mean, here is the daily chart. Look, you can't, where's the daily chart here? This is the daily chart on BTC, guys. You can't trade crypto as if like, is this a good price to get in, right? You have to really try to figure out what is your base case here. Like, are you trying to scalp this? Are you trying to hold it for long term? Because I mean, Bitcoin is not done yet, right? It's going to go. It's going to take out 65,000. There's, that's for sure, right? I was trying to make bets if anybody wanted 50 before 70. Nobody took it. I would have lost that bet because 50 came before 70. But right now, guys, Bitcoin, if it breaks back up above 60, to me, this just looks like a normal chart, very similar to some of those other charts that we've been looking at over and over again. And it's just like, if it breaks here, then we're going to go to the upside. You have some fantastic support. Remember, Tesla sold some of their Bitcoin, as Microsoft right now, 50 cents in the money. Tesla sold some of their Bitcoin, right? So that actually didn't crash the market. I think that's showing that they can hold up. It could take some whale sells. And, it's just a matter of time before more of these companies put this asset on their balance sheet instead of cash. And we've had a few companies come on our show that have done that, and it's paid off. We had a company the other day that put Ethereum on their books, and you saw what that's done. Ethereum was $500 in November, if not earlier than that. And then now today, you're breaking out to new highs here. We're going to do a daily chart on Ethereum. So again, this all stems from should I buy Bitcoin? And I mean, it's just like, this is December, man, 589. Like this is April. 100. So this month is April, right? So if you just bought last year at this time, you're long $230 on Ethereum. It's at 4,100. Okay, so to get my opinion on crypto right now, I mean, I think if you're long, you may want to take some out. And if you're not long yet, I think you should start getting there. What's up, B?
One more to have a look at here. Harley Davidson, Hog just popped up. You can see on volume spike there. There was a headline that just came across saying they've officially now launched Livewire. Now, we had the guys from one of our local Harley Davidson dealership in this very studio going back 2 years ago, I want to say. It was probably close to a year and a half at least back in the summer. Shout out to Policaro, Harley Davidson over in Oakville and Burlington. I remember talking to them about this Livewire bike at that point, and at that point it was just more of a concept than anything. And even then, he was saying some of the purists, I guess, the Harley Davidson purists were going to have an issue with this, but that's what it looks like. I think it looks pretty cool. That's an electric Harley Davidson, guys. That is the Livewire, the new brand just launched by HOG.
I mean, I think it looks cool, but I'm not a motorcycle guy, so I'll leave it to the purists to have their comments on it. Maybe I can see why, because I think you probably wouldn't have seen like Jax Teller or anybody, fictionally of course, on one of those bad boys. Would seem a little bit out of place, but it's still a gorgeous looking bike in my humble estimation. But like I said, I'm not a big time bike guy. I am a hopeful. Short-term day trade square holder. Now, it just bounced off this low, and it's about being patient, waiting for that 217. When Square was first falling, even when I had the short at the top, I pointed out that 217, said, wait for it, wait for it. You could have easily been long, and I usually would be caught in this consolidation at 219. Almost 100% true that I would be long trying to pick this bottom when it gives you that consolidation. You wait for the actual price. I got 1772. Now, if it gives this break, which again, I'd probably be usually looking for like a 219.50 break out of this range. If it does that, I'm getting triggered for a $2 win out when other people are entering in the 219.50 long. And then if we get up to VWAP or like that 225, we can take a $5 or $6 win in the other direction. Yes, I should have had a $10 winner short. Sometimes your bias can get in the wrong way for your trading. I think that's going to be the case here, at least a little bit. I still have Morgan Stanley. I still have that FireEye, but it's ALF, which I showed you that there was an iceberg order at $4 on the stock before. I was able to get some out. It then tried to break down, comes right back, and then there's another $4 bid. So if it breaks the 4 quarters, I'm just out of this one altogether. It's been a great trade. We've been on the bear train for ALF. Great show, but the stock, we're going to play the retracement all day long when we see that setup. If it breaks 425, I'm short at 23s. You just got to give up the ghost. If someone's buying the stock at $4, that one was a 370 close. It hit 525 in the pre-market. I'm going to step away from it. Someone likes it in front of Friday's close. I don't have to fight the trend all day long, not when you already have a winner on it. Do not turn winning trades into losers. No one ever went broke taking profits or controlling losses. That's just my 2 cents.
Bang, good talk there as this goes right back to VWAP, and there it is, It's Superman is in the building again. We're still holding this Microsoft, guys. You see what's been happening here. And yeah, pretty happy with the movement right now in Softy. I mean, again, we call this name. We talk about it. This is why we love it. Bang, bang, bang. And now we hold a little piece here to go to the upside. We're holding half of what, actually, it is this trade. It's this exact, I'm not holding anything. I'm holding this exact piece down here. So we're long 94s. You've already cashed out of everything. So this is legit trade, up 70 cents right now on Softy, and still going higher and higher on this one. We got to give it some room back to the upside, and that's what we did. So now we're going to give it back downside 250.50. So if this breaks back down through 250.50, we're just putting the order in right now to get out on the stops order. So that's, we use stop orders all the time here. This breaks back down below, we're going to get out. But right now, Softy with a beautiful win. Can't take anything less than 70 cents today. So there it is on Microsoft. We're gonna end the day at our highest spot, especially after we get out of this Softy. We've just been piecing out this forward trade for the amount of shares that we have. We basically paid fees on this one, but it is going to come out as a loser overall. We've just been taking out profit, but we did take out too many shares here as we were long. So, just to talk about honest, there it is right there. We're only going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to go 5 for 6, it looks like today on this on trade. So good trading so far today. Square picks them up right now if you have to. Tilray on the downside. Wow. I mean, some of these marijuana names just continue, man. We had a beautiful short on Tilray last week on the show. I think it was, what was it, 16? I forget. It was near 17. Oh, it was 17. That's right. I said that you got to sell. Remember this, guys? Like, again, hopefully you're watching this. for, you know, a long time. And, you know, you'll hear me talk. I said every single time Tilray gets up there, guys, you got to smack the sell. So we did do some of that after the show. We got out of some Tilray, and now today you're seeing that why you're on all the way down. So out some there, 1680, and now you're going to the downside. One of my largest holdings was Afria. It still is Canopy, but you know, this stock just burning money, man, to the downside. So watch out for your weed positions. I don't like it. Workhorse down today. Everything electric down. Check out Fisker. We saw that price bump for Nikola today as well. No idea where that's going to go. That was a really funny skit, man. Wario on Saturday Night Live as well, as I see them up there. That was a really funny one. 10.15 downside now for Fisker, down that 10%, man. Get the hell out of all these EV spaces if you can.
It's not just EV spaces.
And there's Microsoft downside, so we'll get out of that one. Go ahead.
It's not just EV spaces. I mean, I've been saying this about a stock. Look, I still own a small piece of Virgin Galactic, so we'll be honest about it. And it was, you had some of these runs, and hopefully my daily chart's gonna do you some justice here. You had some of these runs, and you look at any time a company that doesn't make any money is going to give you moves like this, whether it's $20 or like I like that 27.50, and it gave you both a scalp win, just a humongous home run. It gave you another scalp trade. I'm still holding some at 27.50, and maybe you shouldn't do that just because you're up on it. But you know, these guys are going to report, and I'm not sure what they could say that prevents the stock from getting down to $16, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm not a huge believer in sort of like holding on forever. You've got to make sure you have something in some stable companies. And the reality is money comes out and it's gone into crypto, but no one sells their crypto when it goes into money. So then how is money supposed to come back into some of these stocks if you think you're going to get bought up at these levels? And the fact of the matter is it's not. Everyone's waiting for them to go even further to the downside, so you might as well be patient too. Brendo?
All right, a couple minutes to go here, guys. As mentioned, a busy week once again coming as far as earnings are concerned. Here are just a few, either after market tonight or before the open tomorrow. I feel like we've mentioned pretty much everything here already today.
I mean, this is why I said this is a bigger week than last week, right? So I started the show by saying that. You're going to get a lot of companies now that are near levels where a decision needs to be made. So there's a lot of those companies there. Every single name I talked about is right there in the middle. You know, PaySafe is there as well. We're going to see that one. Affirm, forget about it. Callaway, Golf, not around here. That might be something to look at as well. So, but I'm really super interested in everything there in the middle, including Roblox, Palantir, and PaySafe. Those are my three big ones for tomorrow.
Yeah, you watch out for some things that maybe doesn't draw everyone's attention, like a Haynes, which has been unbelievably strong the last little bit and is continuing its breakout through 22. So yeah, there's decision making to be on some of those, whether you're in them. Occidental, of course, we were playing that today. Energy space is going to be front and center. So there's a lot to watch, and of course, we'll have to get back to some of these staple names, which are continuing to show a lot of volatility. Square could have had $2, and now it's right back to flat. I feel like this will put a smile on my face, regardless of how the Square trade goes. Finding out what national day is from Ms. V, it's a good one.
Hey guys, thank you for starting this trading week with us. Well, it's an interesting day, so please come back at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to sum up this trading day and trade the close together. And please make sure that you like this video because we're just at 1,300 of likes with 5,000 viewers. So guys, make sure to like this video right now. And happy National Chocolate Parfait Day, everyone.
Everybody likes a parfait. That's just the reality. Chocolate parfait, I'm a win. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, all day, every day.
Yeah, chocolate parfait. Yeah, I mean, like it all. I don't, you know, for me, I actually do prefer to get my sweets like, you know, in fruit form. I don't have a crazy sweet tooth, but someone did ask, and we'll go to Brendan in a second. Someone asked before we go about ADA, right? You're up 30%. That's fantastic, Nick W. You know, if you've been buying it every time that we've said buy, or I've said buy ADA, then yeah, you're up at least that much. And I would just say this. I'm not selling, and it doesn't mean that just because I'm not selling doesn't mean that you don't have to sell. It's about what you believe with crypto. If you're trading it for short term, then get out. My account has matured and increased exponentially like many of yours have. So I don't feel like getting out is wrong or right at this point. I just think you got to figure out if you need the cash and you're kind of like, you know, not cash strapped, but if this has been a big move for you and you've captured enough profit for you, then that's fine. Like this, like if you've only put in $1,000 down here at $1, right? If you've only put in $1,000 and now you're up to $1.80 and that 800 helps you, then I would say, take out half, wait for a dip. But I have no idea. That crystal ball, I can't predict crypto, that's for damn sure, or I wouldn't be sitting here. So that is that. But I guess, Brendan, chocolate parfaits?
I'm like you, I guess not really a huge sweet tooth, especially on the dairy side of things. So I'm going to pass on chocolate parfaits. Miss V.
I'm a big fan.
Always.
Sugar.
Always.
All the sugar ever. Look, we know your order when it comes to Starbucks, so I'm not even remotely surprised by that. It's been a fun one, but do not forget, we're right back here at 3:15 for Power Hour. It's even better when you have the market moving like it is for the entire team. Ms. V in the green, market ES exactly flat.
No, Ms. V, the green is not working today.
I don't know if it's going to work today, though. We're fighting it pretty hard here. I hope it does for Square. If Square can't hold this low, I'm in trouble. I want for Brendan, for my man Sean Katina in the salmon shirt. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close.